Hi everybody, welcome here. Just getting everything set up. It took a little longer. I'm in my temporary studio set up here today. All right, let's get everything set up here. Test test of 1 2, test test 1 2. Test test of 1 2, test test 1 2. All right, I can hear myself, and I think we're good. All right, let's get started here. Yep, sorry guys, I'm in my temporary studio setup today. So not ideal, but we'll make it work. All right, checking audio. I think we're good to go. Traffic camera up above there, out of the Batavia, New York area along the New York State Thruway. That area is under a tornado warning earlier, and it looks like it still is an observed tornado over Alden or near Darien Lake State Park, moving northeast at 40. We'll see if we can grab a shot of that tornado. That is a weather spotter confirmed tornado. This storm has had a confirmed tornado for a while. I think it was first confirmed around Orchard Park a little bit ago. That storm is now up here between Batavia and Attica. And we have more tornado warnings going off right now. Hard to see anything on that traffic cam right now. That is the storm, I believe, that we're looking at there. So if we do see anything, that could be possible. Taking a look here. Wow, we have more tornado warnings going off. There's your tornado right here. Winds going away from the radar and towards the radar. Right here, just along Route US 20. And we can also take a look and see that debris signature right in that same area. So this is likely still on the ground. It's lifting up towards Batavia, New York. So Batavia, New York, you're just outside the warning. I would start to seek my tornado safety measures there if I were you. I'm going to be looking down and away from the camera quite a bit because that's where my second monitor is here in this temporary studio setup. So I apologize about that. Not giving you guys a lot of eye contact today. The lighting isn't ideal. Where's the light? There's the light there. We're going to make it work today. It's going to look a little ugly and rough sometimes, but that's live TV production for you. And that's the cool thing about live streaming on YouTube is you get kind of the whole nitty gritty part of the production side of things. So if you're into that and weather production, this is the right spot for you. Right here near West Batavia, North Alexander, Darien, you guys need to be in your tornado safe spot. That's a pretty big debris ball there, and they're going to extend this warning. Reported tornado located near Attica, New York, or near Batavia, moving northeast at 30. Damaging tornado. Little surprised it's not a PDS, but I think it's because the area of rotation isn't quite as strong to the level that they need for a PDS warning. But basically, that's as close to a PDS without one as you can get. It's basically center line for Batavia, New York. So Batavia, you guys need to be in your tornado safe space. That's lowest level into your room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you have a storm shelter, a basement, a cellar to get below ground, that's even better. This is the real deal for Batavia, New York here. All right, adjusting the title there. I see some comments coming in the chat. We'll get to some of the other states and Puerto Rico, and we'll check on some of the other parts of the U.S. if we get some time here. Dealing with a tornado outbreak in progress. So we're going to cover our most pressing storms here. That's one reason to have multiple ways to get warnings. Have your local weather station, your news station turned on, and all that as well. That way, in case myself or any of the other reputable streamers were covering kind of the entire U.S., or even in this case here, like a larger tornado watch area, we're covering a pretty good region. We may not cover the storm that's directly impacting you. So it's always a good idea to have multiple ways to get warnings. Yeah, things are blowing up pretty quick. We were watching the one tornado warn storm, and that has quickly become multiple tornado warn storms. Just making sure we're not missing anything here at the moment. One thing here, we have a pretty big tornado watch area. It covers much of north central Pennsylvania, much of western and upstate New York, and then also most of Vermont, outside of the far southern counties there in Vermont. This tornado watch goes until 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time, and that is for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible, a few tornadoes likely. We've already seen that. Hail shouldn't be the largest threat today. It's mostly going to be damaging winds and the tornadoes. We also just had a severe thunderstorm watch issued down in central Pennsylvania and down into the mid-Atlantic. This covers south central Pennsylvania, including areas around York, Lancaster, Gettysburg, and then down into Romney, West Virginia, Cumberland, Maryland, Hagerstown, Frederick, Baltimore, Washington, Waldorf, Maryland, and then down into Virginia, Harrisonburg, Staunton, all the way down to Lynchburg and near Roanoke, also around Richmond and Petersburg. This watch covers quite a bit of time until 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be for a tornado or two possible, and then scattered damaging winds up to 65 miles an hour are likely. So once again, not a big hail day. It's going to be primarily damaging winds and tornadoes. Oh boy, let's continue here. We'll get to things when we can. I want to really focus in here on Batavia, New York. At the moment, we have other tornado warnings going off. We have 7 tornado warnings right now. And right now, this is our only observed tornado for Genesee, New York, Monroe, and Orleans counties here in upstate New York, western New York. Once again, you got a tornado coming up into Batavia, near West Batavia. This is along 33, State Route 33, and State Route 98. One good thing is the rotation doesn't look quite as strong as it did just a scan ago. But either way, this is coming up directly towards Batavia, New York. Let me see if we can adjust our cameras. That's a nice camera. I hope I don't mess it up. Actually, yeah, this is the camera that we want to keep. All right, this is right at Batavia at this exit here. So if we're going to see this storm, it's going to be right here. This is our camera location right here. Our tornado is sitting right down here, West Batavia, and coming up towards this way. So please be in your safe space, Batavia, New York. Again, one good sign is that area rotation does not look quite as strong on radar, but it could be cycling here. And it's still in here. There's still a lot of CC drop in here. So likely still on the ground, just not quite as strong as it was just a scan ago. All right, that gives me a little bit of comfort. I want to take the tornado warnings here from top to bottom. We'll go up. This area had a possible tornado earlier today. Wow, look at this thing coming off the lake. That is a beast of a supercell here near New Haven, New York, right on Lake Ontario. Yeah, this area does not get that kind of structure of a supercell very often. This is coming up towards Pulaski, Sandy Creek, Richland, Orwell, Boylston, here along I-81, Mexico, New Haven, and points just around that area. Let's see if there's any other towns in here. Oh, there's a lot of little towns. Farmers Corner, Pineville, Albion Center, Altmore, Pine Meadows, Richcard. If you're in this area here between Sandy Creek and Mexico and New Haven, New York, this is south of Watertown. You guys need to take your tornado safety precautions. The whole area has a larger severe thunderstorm warning. That's for 1-inch quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. That hail is currently over the lake right now, but that'll be coming ashore here near Rainbow Shores and eventually moving up towards Sandy Creek and Pulaski. So a dangerous supercell here. That is a nasty one. Once again, we're tracking confirmed tornadoes here in New York State. Make sure you share and get this out to as many people as we can. That helps the YouTube algorithm. All right, let me know if we have any audio issues too. If you do have any audio issues, just let me know. I'm trying to keep an eye on those. But yeah, I'm in my temporary studio setup, so it's a little tricky today. Again, camera there out of Batavia, New York. Okay, yeah. Wow, that is a dangerous supercell. Again, camera there out of Batavia, New York, courtesy of NITTEC. That's the Niagara International Transportation Technology Coalition. That basically partnership with Southern Ontario and New York State for traffic and live cameras and all that good stuff. So we'll throw their link in the description here later this stream. I'm still trying to get everything set up, but a pretty good, if you're in that part of Western New York and Southern Ontario, pretty good travel information and camera setup there. So they have some nice cameras, and we're going to continue checking in with them, I think, most of the day. Still looks like this might be on the ground. Let's take a look here at this storm here over Batavia, New York. Looks like it's still on the ground, even though that is definitely weakening. I don't know exactly which way this camera is facing. I think I don't know. I don't know which way this camera is facing, but we might get a shot of this tornado if it continues in this direction. If it's going to go over the camera, we might get a shot of it no matter which direction this camera is facing. Um, the camera is basically right here, just on the north side of Batavia, New York. So we are camera-wise set up in a really good spot for this. We'll just have to see. It does look like it's weakening, this storm, so that is one good sign. We have other storms that are not weakening, though. Radar indicated tornado over Dansville. Let's see. Ooh. No, that is going to be some clear air. But there's your area rotation. Springwater, Wayland, up towards South Bristol, Middlesex, Potter, Naples, Richmond, Bristol, Bloomfield, and West Bloomfield here in western New York. That's a dangerous storm there. I want to go back to this one because this one's coming off the lake. A pretty strong area of rotation. And this one just has that look to it. So here's your inflow notch right here. We're getting warm, moist air inflow from Pulaski and this I-81 corridor. It has a really strong hook with some RFD surging out on the south side towards Mexico. We can see that here also on the velocity scan. So Mexico, New York, possible damaging winds on your side of things. And then our area rotation right in here. That's where your area rotation is sitting. Not seeing a CC drop with this, but this looks like a textbook supercell. I would not be surprised if this produces a tornado here in just the next few minutes. Ramona Beach, Tyler's Corner, Farmer's Corner, Pulaski, Richland, Orwell, Pineville, Pecan, New Scriba, Voree, Sandy Creek, and Boylston. You guys definitely need to be in your tornado safe space. Anywhere in this warning, if I haven't mentioned your town, there's a lot of communities in here, so we're not going to mention all of the communities, but hopefully I'm just hitting the big enough ones where you get an idea where you are located. If you're in this warning here, this is southwestern Jefferson and northeastern Oswego counties here in upstate New York. You need to be in your tornado safe space, and this is moving here northeast at 30. I would say it's more east-northeast at 30. Yeah, this is a nasty supercell coming off Lake Ontario. You guys need to be in your safe space. We have another one here further east. Surprised this does not have a tornado possible tag too. It's starting to rotate here in the Adirondacks. So would not be surprised if this gets a tornado warning soon. This is areas around Inlet, Roquette Lake, Great Camp, Sagamore. Up here, not as many communities. Woods Lake and Big Moose. What else is over here? North of Old Forge, New York. That one is a storm to watch there. Yeah, that one's probably going to be the next one to get a tornado warning here. If that tightens up just a little bit, that's going to need a tornado warning. Keeping an eye here on our Batavia camera. It does seem to be getting darker. I think this might be looking northeast. So I think the storm is behind us or now over us. Trying to look there and see if we can see anything. Let me just take this a little fuller here. Thanks again to NITTEC here for this camera. Yeah, I'm going to bring this a little fuller, and just in case we can see anything. Once again, I think that camera's looking northeast, so the storm is probably either above us or just behind us. But I don't know for sure. This is going to likely need a tornado warning here in upstate New York. All right, further south, we've covered these two pretty significantly so far, the Batavia storm, and then also the one here near Danville, right over Springwater right now, Springwater, New York. Do you want to take a look at Rochester? Right now in Rochester, severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a few severe thunderstorms around you. Couple have some rotation, but none are tornadic at the moment. That's a good sign there. And then further south, looks like we have a tornado warned storm here near Genesee, Wellsville, and Woodhall. Okay, yeah, the rotation has weakened a little bit. There it is here. Here's the rotation around Hallsport just a couple scans ago. And what's left of that is around Independence and West Union at the moment. We'll watch in case that storm re-intensifies. It's getting some interaction from the storm to the south. We'll have to watch this storm to the south as well. So kind of like we saw last night is storm interactions between each other. They can either enhance rotation or it can kind of cut off rotation. Looks like in this case, this cell to the south has kind of bumped into it and affected that area circulation around Independence right now. That'll be moving towards Greenwood, Jasper, Cameron, Rathbun, Woodhall, and Troopsburg here in the southern tier of New York State. We'll watch that one for further intensification. This one out in Pennsylvania right now. Where is my mouse? Where is the mouse? There it is. Wow. All right, this one near Spring Creek. Sorry, I lost the mouse there. Like the cursor. The mouse is in my hand, but I lost the cursor. I'm kind of on a backwards screen setup compared to the normal studio. Pittsfield, Columbus in Pennsylvania, and Spring Creek, especially Spring Creek. It's a pretty small, compact cell. This is moving your way here. Spring Creek, Pennsylvania. Zooming in a little bit west, Spring Creek, East Branch, Horn Siding, and Garland. Also in this tornado warning. A little further from the radar site, so it's going to be tricky to see if there's anything in here. Yeah, it's hard to really say what that CC lowering is. A little too far from the radar site to really confirm that via the CC drop. Either way, that looks like a dangerous area rotation. It's certainly tight at the upper levels. That's north of Titusville, Pennsylvania. New severe thunderstorm warning here for Camden, New York, near Williamstown, Florence Hill, Florence, Empeyville, and Westdale. Taking a look at this storm, not seeing a lot of rotation with this yet. 60-mile-an-hour winds and up to about 1-inch hail is possible, especially in this core near Westdale. That storm is a little bit more of a hailstorm. Oh, wow, here we go. Batavia, New York. Look at the lowering on that. This storm is likely going to need a tornado warning here. Again, I mentioned that earlier, near Inlet, New York. Yeah. Luckily, there's not many people out here, but around Stillwater, Woods Lake, and Big Moose. I would start to take my tornado safety precautions. This one is starting to tighten up here on the last scan or two. Not seeing really any CC drop yet. But if this continues to tighten up, I'm sure the National Weather Service is looking at this too, giving it another scan or two, and then making a decision on that storm. But it's definitely a supercell. We can see that structure here. That'll eventually be moving into some slightly more populated areas, Long Lake, Newcomb, and Indian Lake here in upstate New York. So pay attention if you're in that area. I want to go back to one of our best looking structure-wise storms. It's also, though, just now that it's off the lake, getting a little bit of interference here with some storms out ahead of us. You can see just back a little bit, this was a pretty textbook looking supercell. It's now run into a bit of a collision with the cell near Richland. That is affecting it. It does still have rotation, but it's not quite as tight as it was just a couple scans ago. And the presentation of the storm overall, it's going to reorganize, though. This is a dangerous supercell. I think it looks like it's already starting to on this latest scan. You can see this little cell is actually getting incorporated into this overall area of rotation. So would be likely recycling here, and then give it another scan or two, and this will continue to be a tornado producer. Boylston, Richland, Orwell, New Screba, and then eventually Noble Shores, Redfield, Ottawa, Otto Mills. Need to really pay attention to that storm moving your direction. Getting a little bit more concerned with the storm over East Rochester. This warning has now been upgraded to a tornado possible severe thunderstorm. There's a couple other storms that have some broad rotation, especially this one here south along 390, south of Lima, New York. That one is also one to watch. This Batavia storm has actually been dropped from the tornado warning. It has finally fizzled, and that's what we're seeing here on the radar. So I think this thing did cross over, or not radar, but our camera. This thing did, looks like, cross over our camera site. You can still see a lowering, but this storm is, I think, dissipating pretty fast. So that's a good sign. It lifted likely right before Batavia, New York. You can see it's actually low P right now. Still has kind of this little hook on it, but really no precip. So that one is, I think, going to be done for the day. That one produced tornadoes here south of Buffalo. Roof off at least one house in East Eden. Damage to at least 2 other homes. Several trees and power lines down East Eden. So yeah, somewhere down in here around East Eden and then Orchard Park, that storm had a pretty good long track of producing tornadoes. It'll be real interesting to see what the National Weather Service tracks with those. A couple other strong storms just offshore, so we got to watch those over Lake Erie. We're also going to get a new tornado warning here in Pennsylvania. This is for Harrison, Clymer, Brookfield, and around Sweden, PA, in north central Pennsylvania. Another area that's a little far from the radar site, so it's going to be hard to confirm via the CC drop what's going on in this storm. But we can see this storm has a pretty good hook on it. Seeing if any of the other radar scans showed. But we can see it here, just right around Sweden. There's our little supercell kidney bean. That likely has a little inflow notch in this. If this was closer to the radar, it'd probably look like a little more like that storm that we saw coming off Lake Ontario as a fairly textbook-looking supercell. Where are we getting radar? We're getting radar here out of State College. If you're in Pennsylvania, talk to your senators. You guys could use a few more radar sites. For a very populated part of the country, this area is a bit of a radar hole. We have a Pittsburgh radar, the State College radar, and then our next radar is actually here in New Jersey on the east side of Philadelphia. I'd love to see a radar somewhere in kind of east, northeast PA, somewhere like that, to help cover some of these areas around Scranton, Bloomsburg, Harrisburg, Reading. Yeah, it'd be great to have another radar. We do have a radar here out of Binghamton. That may be helpful here as these storms move east. We're kind of at that radar's max range there for Binghamton. There's also a lot of hills and mountains in this area, so it can be hard to see some of these storms a little bit. But out of the PA State College radar, we can see these areas of rotation. Moving northeast, one is a little more north-northeast, Harrison, Clymer, Westfield here in Pennsylvania. And then this one, Greenwood, Jasper, Woodhall, Rathbone, and Cameron here in New York. Hail up to an inch in those storms too. The storm here, tornado warned over Spring Creek. Again, if you're in this area here in Spring Creek, Pennsylvania, horn siding towards Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. Need to be in your tornado safe space, lowest level into your room, away from doors and windows, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Good news is this is an area of the country that does have basements and low levels and things. So most of the areas here are pretty good for basements and all that. Have some scattered storms here further south towards Clearfield, down towards Altoona, Pennsylvania, Hollidaysburg, Bedford, and we'll watch those here around Cumberland. This is, again, an area that has a severe thunderstorm watch. Could have a couple tornadoes even down this way into northern Virginia and the mid-Atlantic. So we'll watch those areas too later this afternoon. We've also had several damaging wind reports here out of the Watertown, New York area. Trees and power lines down. Adams Center. Trees and power lines down there in Henderson. And 12-inch diameter tree limbs down near Route 180 and Route 3. That's near Sackett's Harbor. And then trees and power lines down there in Sackett's Harbor. So this area got hit pretty hard by storms earlier today. Some of those initial storms are further east right now into upstate New York. Slightly below severe limits, although watching a couple of these storms. This one is one to watch here with some broad rotation south of Ostwigatachi. I think that's how you would say it. Watching that area there. And then this supercell is another one that I'm watching for a tornado possible. It has broad rotation at the moment, but that is pretty decent rotation. So kind of just watching this again, another inflow notch right in here, rotating with your RFD, and your rotation sits between that. It's a bit broad at the moment, but I've seen tornado warnings that have had broader areas of rotation. So good news is this is not super populated out here, but again, it is moving through some small communities, Woods Lake, Big Moose, and then eventually over towards Racket Lake. Okay, we're going to get a new... Albany. I'm surprised that, not to criticize too much, I'm surprised Albany did not tag on a tornado possible tag, at least with that severe thunderstorm. That's an interesting one. Let's just double check. Make sure, okay, base velocity, storm relative. Okay, yeah, so I just was checking the different velocity scans just to make sure we're not seeing something that, you know, was an artifact on one, but it does show rotation on all those different types of scans. Surprised this does not have a tornado possible tag. If you're out ahead of this in this warning, I would treat this similar to a tornado warning. Woods, Hasbrooks, and Racket Lake. If you can, get to your lowest level into your room, away from those doors and windows, and yeah, get to your tornado safe space. We'll see if we can get to those other areas of the country, including Puerto Rico. We'll see if we can get to those later today. Right now covering confirmed tornadoes and a tornado outbreak here in upstate New York and western Pennsylvania right now. So we'll see if we can get to those in a little while. Our biggest priority right now, though, is these tornado warnings, and a couple are already confirmed here today. So a dangerous day in upstate New York and western Pennsylvania at the moment. This storm is reorganizing. It had a bit of a hit with the cell merger, but again, this storm is tightening up around Orwell, Voria, and New Scriba. If you're over here towards Greenboro on Ottawa Mills, time to get to your tornado safe space. This will likely get extended out near the radar site too, so we're getting some good readings from this one. Hooker, Wetmore, Page, Michigan Mills, and Montilla, something like that. Yeah, get to your safe space there near Redfield as well. I would also kind of be hunkering down for that one. Checking out this storm here, tornado possible tag near Utica. Nothing much rotation there. Let's switch to a different radar site, see if we see it. Maybe a little broad rotation around Utica. And then tornado possible here over Rochester, especially points east of Rochester here around Webster, Ontario, and Williamson, New York, Walworth, New York. Watching for that cell there. And then there is this cell near Lima. Mentioned that earlier, has also some broad rotation with it. Near Lima and West Bloomfield, New York. Moving further south, this one looks suspicious. Let's take a look at this. Near South Bristol. Looks like a newer supercell starting to form. Let's just go back and take a look at this one. Oh, you know what? This is, never mind. This is that same cell that's moved up through Springwater and Dansville, New York. Now over South Bristol. Come on. With area rotation right over South Bristol. Surprised this doesn't get a continued warning. It likely will. I think the warning just expired. We'll see here. Keep an eye on this one. Geneva, New York, Gorham, Middlesex, and Hopewell. It's down here near South Bristol at the moment. Also getting an extension here on this storm near Cochocton. It's an area here near Fremont, Wheeler, Urbana, and Italy, New York. Area of rotation here just southwest of Chococton, New York. I think that's how you say it. And that area of rotation is going to move up along the 390 corridor here in the southern tier of New York. A lot of tornado warnings here going off. Greenwood, this area of rotation is kind of broadened a bit, but still stay in your safe space. Cameron, Jasper, Rathbone, Woodhall, and Greenwood. And then also around Harrison. This is that area around Sweden earlier. Fox Hill, Brooklyn, up to Harrison, Ulysses, Harrison Valley Mills, and Luke's Mills, as well as Hector, Pennsylvania, sorry. We can see some of these other cells that are unwarned right now are starting to get that look to them. They're starting to have those little curly Q shapes, so we really got to watch this whole area within this tornado warning. It looks like the remnants of Beryl are not done yet producing tornadoes. It's a combination of a frontal boundary and then Beryl, and yeah, it's a combination of Beryl and everything. I just want to take a look and see if we have any new National Weather Service reports here. Okay, let me test the audio again here and make sure we're good to go. Okay, let me test the audio again here. Okay, audio sounds good. Yeah, this thing is starting to really pop off here. It is let's see, it is 1:21 Central, so that's 2:21 Eastern time. Wow. Okay, New York State Police. Unless that's stock footage, posted a couple pictures here just in the last 15 minutes. It looks like tornado damage. Um, with a comment to not go near down power lines and call 911 if you're in an emergency. Yeah, it looks like Erie counties were pictured here by the New York State Police. So, yeah, already got tornado damage coming in here. Our Twitter tag there is the same as the tag. Same as the tag on our screen, just off the screen here. Okay, tucked it kind of back in. WXCastUSA, that's our handle here on YouTube, but also our handle on Twitter. So go to WXCastUSA, and you can see some of those pictures that that it is posted. This one is really starting to wrap up. Would not be surprised if this has a tornado on it. Ooh. That may be the start of a debris signature. We'll have to take a look. Can't fully confirm that yet at the moment, but there are some CC lowerings. And those are right with this area of circulation. Actually, there may be two actually on the ground here. This is likely on the ground too. Just to the north of that. Looks like we have two areas of circulation. One is on the ground for sure. One maybe. I was paying attention to that one, but there is your other area of circulation. We have a confirmed tornado. That is on the ground. Right near Auto Mills. Called you guys out earlier. Auto Mills and County Route 17. That is a tornado on the ground. That's a debris signature. This is a possible one. I'm going to mark that as a question mark. But this right here, that is a confirmed tornado. There's your area rotation. It's probably close to have both of those on the ground, but I'm not going to fully call that one yet. But this one here, near Auto Mills, is on the ground. I'm going to back this up a scan or two and just see what was going on here. So we had this one tight area rotation. Very interesting. That's split into a bit of a shear line right now, and there's two areas of rotation now on this. Right here near Auto Mills, and then their second area. This is your first area rotation. Again, it's hard to say if that is on the ground. That might be. This one, though, is on the ground, and there is your debris signature. They're both on the ground. We have two tornadoes on the ground. Should get an update here on the velocity scan. But they're both on the ground here. Auto Mills needs to be in your tornado safe space immediately. And then areas here around North Osceola, Monteleo. That is a confirmed tornado. Let's see. I'm in my temporary studio setup here today, so it's hard to see chat every now and then. I see MT says I'm underneath your screen with the interstate. Any chance I could get a look at that? Let me know which interstate, and I can take a look at that in here in just a couple minutes. If it's 81 near Pulaski, you guys should be clear of this here near 81 in Pulaski. This is east of the 81 corridor here at the moment. It may have been when I was down at Interstate 390, so we can take a look at that here in a couple minutes. This is not gone confirmed yet, but this is a confirmed tornado. There's actually two of them. Two tornadoes here ongoing near Ottawa Mills, or sorry, Otto Mills. Two tornadoes near Otto Mills. This one was that storm that we saw had a textbook area of circulation earlier. Okay, north of Sandy Creek and Pulaski. Yeah, it looks like this is wrapped up east of you guys. Pulaski, Sandy Creek. Let me just double check here. You guys should be okay for now. Now there are a ton more storms here back towards Rochester and Geneva, so not out of the woods. This is not one of those days where once the one storm moves through, you're kind of done. This one is going to have a couple different rounds of severe weather. So for the immediate little bit, Sandy Creek, Pulaski areas along 81, you're good to go right now. The tornadic storm here is east of you. But if you're along the 81 corridor, you're going to have to keep an eye to the skies here for these storms that are near Rochester right now. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Stay safe today. Have multiple ways to get warnings too, not just the live stream. Definitely tap your local media. I know there's probably some new people joining. I said it earlier when we started the day. There's quite a bit of tornadic activity, so I'm trying to cover the most important storms here for the minute, but the most important storm for you personally may be not the storm I'm covering. So definitely have multiple ways to get warnings. And this whole line of storms looks like has gone tornadic. So if you're along the 81 corridor right now, you're okay. But let's see. About 60, 70 miles, depending on which part of the 81 corridor you're on. I'd say 50 to 70 miles is this next line of storms. Let's continue taking a look at this storm. This one is definitely a tight area rotation here near Otto Mills. See if there's two still on the ground here. Looks like the one to the south is weakened, but this one here is still going. Backing this up just a scan or two, we can see. Yeah, okay, so that probably was the start of this one. I was waiting a scan to see if this one was going to show a debris signature, and it does. So just a scan back, we had two tornadoes on the ground near Otto Mills, New York. Still maybe in here a little bit, but this one to the north is really taken over. This one is a definite tornado. This one still may be on the ground, not fully certain, but this one is definitely on the ground. Yeah, okay, it's new scan has come in. I can say the further south one is not on the ground, but this one here, if you're near Montiola, I hope I'm saying that right. You guys need to be in your tornado safe space. That continues towards Page, Houseville, Welsh Hill, Turin, Lyons Falls, Grieg, and Glenfield. Really dangerous cell here between Leiden and New Bremen. Surprised it still doesn't have a... Oh, this is out of Buffalo. Buffalo covers you guys up near Watertown. Wow. That's a big National Weather Service coverage area. Well, now I see why they don't have this as confirmed yet, because the Buffalo National Weather Service is dealing with a ton of other tornado warnings. So not blaming them. Let's see. New warnings here. Williamson. This area here is going to go out to the lake here in a few minutes. Williamson, Sodus, and Sodus Point need to be in your tornado safe space there. South of Rochester, Rochester downtown, you're okay. South of Rochester, watching this cell here near Mendon and Victor. has a tornado possible tag, 60-mile-an-hour winds. More concerned about that rotation there. Mendon, Fishers, and Victor. That one's definitely wrapping up pretty good. And then this storm has had a tornado warning for a while near Gorham. It's over areas here between South Bristol and Gorham, New York. Still just radar indicated. That'll also be coming up towards Geneva, Clifton Springs, Farmington, Newark, and Palmyra. And for anyone that's not, for anyone that's watching, this part of the country does not get a ton of tornadoes like this. This is a pretty good tornado outbreak for this part of the country. So, yeah, hopefully people are paying attention. Near Cochocton and Italy and Naples. Still area rotation there. That is near 390. Should be past 390 at the moment. Thanks, MT. Yeah, trying here. We're hopping around a little bit because there's actually so many storms. This whole line is has storms that are rotating here at the moment. Greenwood, Jasper, Cameron, Rathbone, and Woodhall still have this rotation up along 36 near Hampshire. Good news is it's up here in the hills, but the bad news is you might not see this coming. Jackson Hill, Grass Hill. Hopefully no one is out here hiking today. That's moving towards Cameron, New York. And then down here into northern Pennsylvania around Harrison and Brookfield. I'd also, we're a little further from the radar, but this storm here near Gailton and Gaines is also rotating. So keep an eye on that storm there in around Gailton. Boy, more tornado warnings. Back towards Jamestown, New York, a fairly big community here in the southern tier. Up towards Conewango, Ellicott, a little further from the radar site, so it's hard to see, but this is right over the state line near Buste and Sugar Grove, coming up towards Jamestown. That'll also affect I-86 between Randolph and Jamestown, New York. Wow. A couple other severe storms now going up in Pennsylvania. One of those, a tornado possible tag near Leedy, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that one's rotating here. We'll keep an eye on that one. A newer cell that's rotating, probably a little bit of hail in this storm too. That's also coming up towards Tamarack and then towards Cross Fork, Pennsylvania. That's northwest of Lock Haven. I think I got most of these here in the last sweep. 9 tornado warnings right now. None of them at the moment are... Okay, the Lewis... Okay, this one did go confirmed. That's what I thought. It's still actually on the ground here. This is near Otto Mills, between Otto Mills and Monteola. I hope that's saying that right. Monteola. But there's your debris signature. This is this radar product, if anyone is not as familiar with this radar product, this shows us meteorological targets. It's the correlation coefficient. So if I take a scan here and sample this area, these are all raindrops, and the radar sees them as these pinkish gray colors. They're all basically the same size. So the radar says those correlate well to each other. When we start seeing these blues and greens and oranges, those are different things. That's the radar taking a look at a scan and saying there might be some hail in some of these and some rain, but then there also may be some 2x4s, some tree branches, and all kinds of weird stuff in here. So the lower values have darker colors. So the blues and black colors indicate these lower values of correlation. So when we see those and they line up with a area of rotation like this has done, that gives us a pretty strong indication that there's a tornado on the ground. So especially when we see a situation like this where there's the lower values of the CC and those are surrounded by areas of high correlation, that shows us there where the debris is being picked up. Those are non-meteorological targets. If you're not super proficient in the CC, there's all kinds of clear air. You can see back here near East Boylston. This is not precip, And so the CC does have some drawbacks that there's a lot of clear air contamination that shows up as the same kind of color scheme as the debris signatures. So down here, this is a debris signature that my arrow just pointed to. This over here, this is all just clear air. So a quick little tutorial there on the CC values. What else is in here? Monteola, Page, and Michigan Mills. You guys are up next. I think the storm has slowed down a little bit. We're also really close to the radar site. That can interfere with the CC, so we also see that up in here. This is all kind of part of that radar cone of silence, and that really messes with the CC drop as well. It also messes up with some of the other radar products, but not quite as much as the CC. So we see that kind of ring of radar interference there. Let's see. Let's go back to our storm here around Williamson, Sodus, and Sodus Point. Right along State Route 104. That'll quickly move out to the open waters here. But if you're in this area, East Williamson over to Sodus, Holland Cove, Putneyville, and Sodus Point, definitely be in your tornado safe space. Give it a couple more minutes here. This will be off to shore here in just a couple minutes. Also, though, this storm here, southeast of Rochester, it was the one I was watching earlier, near Victor and Mendon. That's also gone tornado warned. So if you're in this original warning, Williamson, Marion, Ontario, and then eventually Sodus and Sodus Point, keep an eye to your southwest. You have another storm. Let's see if we can get a better radar out of this area. Kind of. Still in here near Victor and Brownsville, Mott's Corner. That'll be coming up towards Macedon, Waynesport, Palmyra. A bit of overlapping tornado warnings there. And then still broad rotation near Gorham, headed towards Geneva, Clifton Springs, and Hopewell. That may be cycling. Yeah, kind of seeing more of that broad rotation at the moment. So some good news there for Gorham. Still stay in your safe space, though, because these easily can cycle and then reproduce new tornadoes. So just because today is one of those days, just because the rotation may weaken a little bit, it's not going to be weakened and one and done. These are likely cyclic supercells that are going to go through their cycles. This storm here, south of Naples and south of Italy, New York, that will eventually be over towards Penyon. Area rotation south of Naples along New York 53. So here's another example on the CC that I was talking about earlier. This kind of looks like a CC drop, but this is actually clear air contamination for the inflow notch. So especially that we're further away from the radar site, it's a little bit even hazier to see. But yeah, this is all CC drop from that clear air. So unlike the other storm, there's no debris fall with this particular storm at this moment. The other thing I will note, I've noted it in other streams, when we're taking a look at a storm, and I'll draw my storm here with a tornado on it, when our radar site is way over here, and the beam goes up, the beam actually goes straight out, but the curvature of the Earth, it ends up going up. The tornado may be picking up debris, and it's in the cloud here, but depending on where we are for the radar site, we may be hitting a scan of the clouds that are above where the debris is being lofted. So just because we don't see a CC drop on some of these storms, especially these ones that are further from the radar, that doesn't mean that there's not a tornado. There could very well be a tornado on the ground, and we're just not seeing it loft debris up to that level. You know, when we have a radar site that's closer, like we had a little bit ago, that radar is able to get a lower scan of that profile of the storm, and that's where we can see some of those debris signatures. Still tornado warning here around Harrison, although the storms don't look quite as impressive right now. This one near Clymer is rotating, and also a little bit here near Brookfield. So keep an eye on both of those storms. And then I want to take a look at Jamestown, New York. Another pretty good community here. Good sized community. Broad rotation coming towards Jamestown and south of there, especially near Worcester. Stay in your safe place a few more minutes there in Jamestown, New York. We're going to get a extension of this storm near Geneva. Geneva and Gorham. Area rotation right around Gorham at the moment. This storm likely has some hail. We can see those purple colors. That's showing up in a hail core. That's also coming up towards Geneva, New York. So hopefully you're in your safe space. And another reason to stay away from those doors and windows and put as many walls between the outside as possible. Wind-driven hail can sometimes cause quite significant damage, sometimes even comparable to a weak tornado. Earlier this spring, there was a massive hailstorm in North Carolina that caused significant damage that I think the people there thought it was a tornado at first, but it was actually a large swath of damaging wind and baseball-sized hail. Taking a look at this storm. Still rotating in here near Sodus Point. Zooming in a little further, Holland Cove and Sodus Point. Still stay in your safe space here. Williamson over to Sodus, just another couple minutes. And then wouldn't go too far from your safe place because there are more storms to the south here. This one is trying to organize itself a little tighter here near Mott's Corner and Brownsville, coming up towards Macedon and Yellow Mills. Just north of Farmington, New York. So those are those storms. I think we covered them okay. This one still has the observe tag. It's south of Lowville, approaching Turin, Welsh Hill, and Michigan Mills. Good news is this one may have lifted. So this is when we saw it here with actually two circulations on the ground. One here near Otto Mills and then one south of Otto Mills. Putting this into motion, we see it continue there north and east. Oh, you know what? It may still be in here. This is where we're getting closer to that radar site. There's your CC drop there. A couple scans later, it's kind of interfering with the radar site. So, ooh, it's going to be a little harder to tell. But you know what? This is behind the storm, so I think that is just lofted debris if it's still in here. Take a look at the velocity scan. There it was here again on the ground near Otto Mills. Yeah, that has broadened out. So that is a good sign around Monteola and Page. This storm has tried a couple times. It's obviously produced a tornado already, but this storm has had some interference with these cells out in front of it. Still stay in your tornado safe space from Lionsdale, Grieg, Turin, Watson, and Lowville. This storm, I think, is going to try again. It's going to probably do something similar to the last time where it ingested this cell and kind of actually incorporated in its rotation. So it's going to have maybe a reduced tornado chance here in the near term, but just I think longer term, this one is definitely going to produce again. All right, taking a look here. A couple areas of rotation near Long Lake, and that storm near Inlet look isn't as strong as it was earlier. Still does have some broad rotation on that. So keep an eye on those storms. And then let's take a look over the lake here. This storm here near Williamson is moving out over the water. It's still around Sodus Point right now, so stay in your safe space. Just another couple minutes there in Sodus Point. New tornado warning for that storm that I mentioned a few minutes ago. This is near Clymer. The one near Harrison, that is dissipated. That's no longer a threat. Between Brookfield and Harrison Valley, that one has definitely slacked off. This one, though, has picked up Davis Station right around Davis Station and State Route 349. Not seeing a CC drop, but again, this is another storm that's a little further from the radar site. Westfield up to Knoxville, Oldham Corners, Osceola, Elkland, Nelson, and Tompkins, right along the Pennsylvania-New York state line. Time for your tornado action plan that's lowest level into your room, away from the doors and windows, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, there's our area rotation near Clymer. It's going to be moving north and east towards Elkton. So if you're in this area, please take those precautions. Northeast at 45. I'll time this out here for you at 45. Deerfield about 13 minutes, and then Osceola, that's up near Elkton, around 18 minutes. I kind of timed it from the leading edge of the circulation, so that may give you another minute or two depending on where you are located. Now, one good thing about this storm, if it doesn't wobble too much on its northeastern track, it looks like quite a bit of the population centers are just going to be a little bit north of the area of rotation. Again, still want you to be in your safe space, but that rotation may just miss some of these communities that are in here along State Route 49. Some of the more populated communities in this warning area. But there are other communities that are out here closer to the area of circulation. Sabinsville, Little Marsh, Oldham Corners, and then Osceola and Elkton eventually here at the end of the warning box. Ooh, these look a little suspicious down here. Especially this one. They both look a little suspicious. That one, hard to tell. There might be a little bit of interference with that storm. But this one over here near Cross Fork is one to watch. Tamarack and Cross Fork, that will be headed up to areas along Pennsylvania 44. They both have a tornado possible tag and also 60-mile-an-hour winds and close to an inch hail. So keep an eye on those storms. Further south, right around the radar site here at State College, non-severe storms at the moment. And then all the way down towards Bedford and Romney, West Virginia. Yeah, we're watching the mid-Atlantic, too, for some strong to severe thunderstorms. Again, this watch area here, severe thunderstorm watch. 65-mile-an-hour winds are likely, and also a couple tornadoes. So, watching for that later this afternoon. Wow, and just look at New York State right now. 9 tornado warnings right now. And there's only 2 that are in Pennsylvania. The rest are all in New York State, and especially here between Rochester and Corning. All right, we'll start from the top again and take a look at some of these storms here in upstate New York very quickly here. Looking at our area around Watertown. A couple areas of rotation in these storms. The one near Long Lake is particularly interesting, and then also that one north of Inlet. Keeping an eye on those storms. We have a big cluster of storms now moving through areas here east of Watertown, Denmark, New Bremen, and Lowville. Those are strong but not severe right now around Denmark and New Bremen. South of Lowville, though, we pick up from Lowville south, we pick up our tornado warned storm. And you can see it's starting to do what I thought it was going to do. It's ingesting those couple cells that were out ahead of it. It's going to try and wrap this back up again. This storm has already produced a couple confirmed tornadoes. It's very likely going to do this again. After it completes ingesting those cells, it's going to really tighten up that rotation. And already starting to see that tighten up again. So stay in your safe space, especially Lowville south, towards Grieg, Turin, Lionsdale, and north of Leiden. I'll zoom in a little bit. This is a bit more populated area here. Michigan Mills over to Page and Wetmore, Glenfield, Houseville, Welsh Hill, Lyons Falls, and Port Leyden. You guys all need to be in your tornado safe space. Areas earlier around Auto Mills that had the debris signature, you guys are clear of this warning now. So Berea, Orwell, New Scriba, and Auto Mills, you guys are clear for now. But as I was mentioning in our chat a little bit ago, this is not a situation where I can just clear you for the day. Last night, if you're watching last night, we cleared some communities for the day, and they were kind of one and done. That is not the case here. So if you're along the 81 corridor, had the tornado warnings here a little bit ago, there are likely new tornado warnings coming because this whole line is tornadic, basically from Lake Ontario and over the open water all the way down now east of Rochester, Geneva, Richmond, and now approaching Corning and Westfield, Pennsylvania down there. So again, along the 81 corridor, not out of the woods yet. More storms are coming. And then even behind there, there's probably a third round of storms that may try and form. We can see a little bit of that back here south of Buffalo. Wow, wow, wow. All right, let's move in here on our storms near Rochester. Pretty populated area here. Tornado warned storm here, Walworth, Marion, Palmyra. This is that storm that came out of Victor. Broad rotation around Palmyra right now. Still stay in your safe place there. And then this storm has wrapped up quite significantly, coming up towards Geneva, New York, Waterloo, Clyde, Lyons, Clifton Springs. This one is starting to tighten up. We have our winds going away from the radar and towards the radar. Area rotation sits right in there. And that's in that notch. We have our inflow notch, warm, moist air, inflow over Geneva. You have our RFD, our rear flank downdraft, helping to enhance that spin around the backside of the storm. This is a healthy supercell. It's got a forward flank downdraft. You can see it has ventilation off the top, also ventilation off that rear side and that RFD. So a very healthy, structured supercell thunderstorm with the rotation right in there along US 20, just west of Geneva, New York. And we see that again on the radar presentation. This is our velocity scan. This is our reflectivity. Not seeing a debris signature yet. There are a couple lower CC values, but we're a little bit further from the radar site, and there is some heavy precip right in this area here. So I can't really say that's a debris signature on the CC. That likely is some clear air right there too. We're just a little bit further from the radar site, so it's not quite as clear of a picture. Either way, this is a dangerous rotating supercell. Lenox Park, Preemption, Geneva, Border City, Dobbins Corners, coming up your way. And then it looks like there is this warning is kind of a weird shape here. It cuts off basically at Geneva, and then it goes north here, just to the northwest of Montezuma. I'm guessing this is probably Buffalo that's warning this, and then this is a different NWS office. There'll likely be a warning that comes out to connect these, but personally, if I was in this area here to the north and east of Geneva, basically north and east, or north and west of US 20, from Geneva up to Seneca Falls and Montezuma, I would also kind of be in my safe space, just kind of mentally, fill in the picture of this being a box. So right now, this part of the box is not filled in officially, but just looking at where the storm is going, I think it's a matter of time before the next National Weather Service will warn this area. This is one of my more concerning cells here at the moment. Pretty good rotation coming into a fairly populated area here around Geneva, New York. Just want to check here. We had a tornado possible tag Going to extend that out. Williamson, Sodus Point, Huron, and Walcott. Not quite as impressive as that one. This storm that was around Sodus Point with rotation is still kind of hugging the coast. So I would also just kind of watch this area here around Huron. Okay, there it is. Right on cue. They make me look smart sometimes. So there's your filled-in warning. This is basically 2 warnings for the different NWS offices. And so 2 warnings for 1 storm. But that is going to that's going to be out for the 1-inch sized hail and the tornado potential over Geneva, New York. That now covers East Geneva, Waterloo, Seneca Falls, Cayuga, Stone Church Corner, McGee, Tyree, Mays Point, and Malkin here in kind of west central New York. Northwestern Seneca County and western Cayuga County. One thing that concerns me a little bit this time of year is these are the Finger Lakes. There are a lot of vacation rentals and vacation properties up here. One thing to have your tornado action plan, if you are traveling, make sure you have a kind of a travel tornado action plan. Make sure you know not just like the name of the city that you're going to, but if you can, get to know that county that you're in as well, because some people may not know they're in northwestern Seneca County if they have a vacation home up here and they live down in Buffalo or even downstate in Jersey or the New York City metro. It's really important to have your tornado action plan for your home, but also for places that you're going. Further south, tornado possible tag for the storm around Penyon and Porter. You can see there's some broad rotation in here coming up towards Benton, Porter, and Penyon. Also, that storm further south looks like it's fizzled a little bit near Italy. Not seeing a strong of rotation in here right now, so that's some good news near Prattsburg, New York. Down further there near Bath, New York. Area rotation right here. That's coming along I-86. Unionville cross corners up to Savona, Sonora, and up towards Hammondsport. Take your tornado safety precautions there. And then watching this storm here in Pennsylvania, it's was near Clymer earlier. Westfield, I want you to stay in your safe spaces a couple more minutes, but looks like I called that kind of right. It's going to go just to the east of Westfield. Over here along 249, and then points along 49 towards Elkland, Pennsylvania. Still stay in your safe space. That includes Knoxville, Osceola, Ogle Corners, and areas here north of Sabensville. That's a dangerous cell there. Watching these storms here in north central Pennsylvania. 2 storms with tornado possible tag on them. Luckily, it's not super populated out here. This is north of Renovo and west of State Run, west of Cedar Run, and east of Gravel Lick. 2 storms, pretty good looking structure to those. Good news is those storms around Jamestown have fizzled a little bit. Still a tornado possible tag on those, but those significantly backed off within a couple scans. They were actually a tornado warned at one point going into Jamestown, but those have drifted to the north and are now just tornado possible. A little bit of rotation left near Jerry, New York, but I would that's definitely downtrending. Train spotter, tree damage near Forestville. We're starting to get those reports here from the earlier storms. Trees blown down and a barn roof blown off near Forestville. Here's a bunch more storm reports out of this area around Eden and up towards Orchard Park. This was that strong tornado producing storm. Damages to homes. roof damage to another house, roof blown off a house, and trees and wires down, all in Erie County. So Erie County, south of Buffalo, has been hit pretty hard. Just kind of scanning this whole area, making sure we're not missing anything here at the moment. This storm has gone below tornadic limits right now. Ooh. Give it a few more minutes, though. I think this is probably going to, again, this one I just have a feeling it's probably going to try and produce another tornado. Let's just wait and see on that one. It's starting to try and tighten up rotation again west of Turin and Lyons Falls. If you're in your safe place already, because this area was tornado warned earlier, Turin, Grieg, down towards, what is that? Lyons Falls, yeah. If you're in your tornado safe space already, I would just stay there for a few more minutes and just give this another couple minutes to pass. If you're out in front of this towards the Lionsdale, Moose River, or Brantingham, not time to go to your tornado safe base, but just know your tornado action plan and be ready to take that if you need to. Because yeah, it's trying to rotate again. We'll see if it can. Watching this storm grazing the coast here, east of Sodus Point, near Dresborough Park. That'll come towards Fairhaven. Watching for possible tornado, but also, especially if it gets out over the open water, a water spout. And then, yeah, right now the most concerning storm, tornadic-wise, is this one here near Geneva, New York. Now kind of right over Geneva, border city, and East Geneva. Not seeing a CC drop with this. So some good news. We may have gotten out of Geneva without a tornado. Either way, if you're in the Geneva area, stay in your safe space a few more minutes. And then especially here towards Waterloo, Seneca Falls, Bridgeport, McGee, Stone Church Corner, Tyree, Mays Point, and Malkin. You guys are in that tornado warning there. North side of the Finger Lakes. Okay, while things have quieted down for just a minute, I got the temporary studio set up and then jumped on to the stream here. I forgot to grab a glass of water, so I'm gonna go get a water real quick and just leave this running here with the radar on, and then we'll be right back to cover the tornado outbreak here in New York, and also, well, really possible here in the rest of the Northeast, but so far it's been centered in Western New York and upstate New York. So stay with me here. I'll keep the stream on and just go grab a glass of water here. Okay. Test, test, 1, 2. Let me get the audio back. Test, test, 1, 2. Okay, audio sounds good. It looks like the screen glitched out a little bit while I was grabbing that water. I had to take a phone call too. Let's get back to our severe weather coverage here. If you're just joining us, it's 2:20 Central Time, 3:20 Eastern. And right now, all of our severe weather is on the Eastern time zone. Well, sorry, not true. There is some isolated strong storms here in Iowa today. Quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, and also one in Minnesota, 60-mile-an-hour winds there. So there are some isolated storms elsewhere. Our primary focus here today is on the East Coast, particularly right now into New York, Western New York, and upstate New York. We've had several confirmed tornadoes this afternoon with confirmed damage, and then several tornadoes still. Tornado warnings are still ongoing with the potential for more warnings here into the afternoon. So once again, it's 3:21 in the Eastern time zone. I'm just going to do a full reset on this system here. Since we reset everything else, let me just reset the radar too. All right, we'll get our newest warning here that just came in. It's an extension really of that cell that's down here near Seneca Falls and Montezuma. This is the storm that we followed through Geneva, New York. Rotation in here along 90 right now near Tyree, Mays Point. That'll be approaching Montezuma and then continuing on towards Port Byron, Weedsport, Fox Ridge, Savannah, Conquest, Mosquito Point, and Meridian and Victory. And that warning actually goes all the way up. Wow, that's a big warning. All the way up to Fulton and Volney. So the National Weather Service is warning this way out ahead here. So everyone here from Seneca Falls up towards Fulton, you guys are under a tornado warning here. Yeah, this is for that storm near Montezuma. So moving northeast at 45. With a big warning like this, I do want to track this out a little bit. Let's get the velocity on here. So this is some of the communities I kind of took it on the leading edge of that circulation. Montezuma, about 5 minutes or less. Howland, 10 minutes. Port Byron, about 11 minutes. Conquest, 14. Caddo, 20. Little Utica, 32. And then Fulton, about 38 minutes. So it's going to get through the warning box pretty quickly, going at 45 miles an hour to the northeast. Further north here, that storm that's been grazing the shoreline of Lake Ontario has been rewarned. Area rotation here near Sterling. That's going to be moving right along Lake Ontario here. So along the shoreline, Oswego, Minetto, Scriba, New Haven. You guys are all in this tornado warning for this storm. Some of the worst weather of this storm is likely out over the open water, but the tornadic part of the circulation back towards Sterling, that's moving along the shoreline. So the tornado warning certainly warranted there. I want to check these storms. This one had a confirmed tornado earlier, kind of broadly rotating right now, but it has not regained that tornadic energy yet. That's near Grieg and Brantonham and Sperryville. The storms to the south of there also having some broad rotation around Welsh Hill. So this whole line now, there's a bit of a line segment here with kind of 3 embedded supercells. Watching rotation in 3 of those. They're all broad at the moment. New storm here near Osceola and Williamstown is worth watching. It's not severe at the moment. It does show a little bit of rotation. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Really kind of a lot of these are rotating today. It's one of those environments where there's a lot of rotation. Tornado possible tag near Long Lake and Newcomb. This is also near Lake Placid, New York. Let's see. Yeah, we can maybe, it's a little further from the radar site. Wow, there is a actually pretty strong area. This is at the higher level, so we're far from the radar site. Which is likely why this is not tornado warned, because we're looking at the storm from a pretty far elevation here. But up here in the Adirondacks, this is a pretty dangerous storm here, north of Newcomb, and likely south of Lake Placid at the moment. This may go south of Lake Placid. Let me just take a look. And it's kind of lifting northeast, so Lake Placid still wants you to stay hunkered in to a nice safe place away from doors and windows and on your lowest level if you can. Okay, a couple storm reports here out of the Oswego or Geneva area. Trees down blocking the road. Power lines down. This storm here that's tornado warned near Montezuma definitely has had damage. We don't know if it's tornado damage or wind damage. Either way, it's definitely looking impressive. So Montezuma, Weedsport, Senate, up to Conquest, Caddo, Baldwinsville, Phoenix, and Fulton and Volney all need to be in your tornado safe space there. Take a look at this cell south of Geneva. It has a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on this. It's near Billsboro Corners right now. Has a little bit of broad rotation, so we'll keep an eye on that storm. We'll see if they extend a new severe thunderstorm for that one. And then further south, broad rotation around Barrington and Starkey right now. That'll keep moving northeast towards Lodi and Hector. Not severe warned right now, but that's probably just below severe limits. Wouldn't be surprised if we get severe warning out of these. Actually, all 3 of these cells are rotating. The one here near Starkey, another one south and east of Urbana, and another one here near Bath. That one is tornado warned. Between Bath and Campbell, along 390 and I-86. That's a dangerous cell. All 3 of these are actually are dangerous cells. So this whole area, keep an eye on those storms. That'll be continuing across the Finger Lakes. Starkey, Hector, Covert, Genoa, Groton, maybe towards Ithaca. We'll see if we get a new tornado warning to cover some of those. And then further south, tornado possible tag. Rotation near Addison, Corning, Big Flats, Horseheads, and Elmira are all in this warning. Again, lowest level away from windows, and then get ready to take your tornado action plan if a warning for the tornado warning is issued. So yeah, that one is a dangerous cell there near Addison. We'll keep an eye on that area rotation. Further south into Pennsylvania, severe thunderstorm, tornado possible tags on these storms. This one has moved out of the warning, so we'll see if it gets reissued. But Cedar Run and Slate Run, area rotation right there along Pennsylvania 44. If that gets a new warning, Cedar Run, Blackwell, Morris, Atrium, and Duncan would likely all be in that warning. Again, that's a dangerous storm up there in the mountains in northern PA. We do have some good news here. They've trimmed away some of the tornado watch area. So Oil City, St. Mary's, Sandy, Pennsylvania, areas to the west of Altoona and State College. You guys are actually good for the evening. happy to report that's areas around Punxsutawney, Clearfield, St. Mary's, Titusville, Meadville, Cranberry. These were all in a tornado warrant or tornado watch area earlier today. So nice to see there is some clearing of this. We have thunderstorms that are going up here in the mountains here of West Virginia and Virginia. We'll keep an eye on those. Severe thunderstorm watch goes well into the evening till 10 p.m. Eastern. That's for primarily scattered damaging winds up to 65, and then also a tornado or two possible. So we'll keep an eye down in the mid-Atlantic here later this afternoon. All right, that area did get a tornado warning here. Let's see. Where are we looking at? Out of Burlington. There it is right here. So this area rotation has tightened up. It's between Newcomb and Lake Placid, New York. There are a lot of wildlife areas out here. Not a lot of official communities, but there are some people out here, especially this time of year. There may be people up in some cabins and doing some camping. So although this will remain over rural areas here in south central Franklin and west central Essex counties, yeah, here Mount Van Hovenberg recreational area. That one hopefully there's no one out there that's doing the recreation without a place to go. A dangerous storm here. Because it's up in the hills, we don't get a really good look at it, but it's going to remain south of Lake Placid, at least the tornadic part of the storm. This may head over towards Keene, New York, and then we'll have to watch this as it gets close to the 87 corridor later this evening here and afternoon. Elizabethtown, Keene, Lewis, areas here near Underwood. Keep an eye on this storm. That is, let's see. It's about 26 miles to the west of the I-87 corridor. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And it is moving east at 25, so not super fast. That is one good thing. That puts it in Underwood in about an hour. So that gets to the I-87 corridor again about an hour from now. Let's see if we have a camera in those areas. We had this camera here, courtesy of the NIT-TEC from Batavia earlier today. Let me just check and see. Sorry again, I'm in my temporary studio, so I have to kind of like duck down to look at the my secondary monitor. not a ton of cameras out there at the moment. Let's see here. Okay, we'll put our Earth cam on Washington D.C. since we are going to monitor that severe weather threat in the Mid-Atlantic picking up. So that'll give us a camera there. And then while let's look at New York for some other cameras. The Batavia, New York cam has done us well, but we can probably pick up a different camera. It looks good. It's out of Victor, New York. That area's been in a couple tornado warnings today. Out of areas here east of Rochester. So we'll take a look at those clouds. Again, watching also more storms come into that area, so that gives us a good spot there. And I'm gonna go grab my lunch that was heating up, and then we'll continue with these tornado warnings. So far, a little bit reduced in the tornado warning coverage here right now. We have 3 tornado warnings. They're all right now in western and upstate New York. One south of Lake Placid. That's up in the mountains between Newcomb and Lake Placid. And then also back here towards Oswego. And also back here along the New York State Thruway near Weedsport. And approaching Baldwinsville, Phoenix, areas west of Syracuse, around Jordan, all need to be in your tornado safe space. And then the one here riding the lake near Oswego, New York. Luckily, the rotation isn't as strong with that one at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on those here too. So let me just back the camera up just a little bit, and then grab my lunch here, and then we'll continue to cover this. All right, we're back. Got my lunch ready, and we're good to go. Homemade lasagna. All right, so looking at this storm out of Victor. Keep an eye on that storm there as it comes through areas here around Rochester. Let me, audio sounds good, so I think we're in good shape. Let me know if the audio sounds bad in the chat. We'll keep an eye on those things too. Not sure exactly what's going on, so let me see here. Okay. Test 1, 2. That should be okay. No, it's not okay. Let's see. My side monitor is acting up. Okay, there it goes. Weird tech day. The side monitor goes, and then I don't have my mouse because my mouse is over on the side monitor. All right, that should work. Okay, sorry about that, guys. The side monitor kind of failed out. Let's go back and let me just double check. Make sure we can hear everything. Everything sounds good. I'm kind of working now off of one screen, so that's going to complicate things for me, but it shouldn't complicate things too much for you guys. New tornado warning is those storms down in Pennsylvania right now. The one I mentioned earlier near Wellsboro, Blackwell, Morris, Atrium, and Duncan. That one has continued to increase its rotation, and now we're seeing a pretty well-defined supercell here, just north of Blackwell, approaching Atrium, Duncan, and Morris with a tornado possible. This also has quarter-sized hail. It's for southwestern Tioga County here in north central PA. And again, if you're in this area here, especially west of 15, keep an eye on this storm. There's a few other smaller communities in here. Your larger hail is going to be in these darker reds and purple colors. That's coming towards Broughton Hollow and Atrium and Duncan. And then the tornadic part of the storm over here near Pine, between Pine and Blackwell, also headed towards Atrium, Morris, and possibly towards Duncan. So dangerous storm there in north central PA. Another storm that is worth watching, it's not warned at the moment, but this area west of Lock Haven has a little bit of rotation on here. So keeping an eye on this storm. Again, this is up near Bear Swamp, Eagleton Fields, East Fernie, and Glen Union. Will come towards Lock Haven and Queens Run, a little more populated area here in, what is that? That is the valley, I forget what river here. The Susquehanna West Branch. In the river valley here around Lock Haven. That is a dangerous storm. We also had storms that are now severe warned around State College and points here to the east of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Not seeing a lot of rotation on those yet, but definitely worth watching. We'll also watch storms here in the mountains of Virginia. Back up to the north, though, let's take a look at our tornado warned storms. We'll go top to bottom again. This storm is between Lake Placid and Newcomb. It's up here in pretty much a rural area, but still a pretty dangerous supercell. Looks like it's cycling a little bit. The older rotation has backed off, but a new area rotation is picking up here. Let's see, there's not really a lot of communities out here. It's more just mountains. Mount Mary and Blindside Mountain up in here is your new area rotation. Now we'll be headed towards the I-87 corridor in a little bit. Also watching that cell along the I-87 corridor here near Mile Square Mountain has a little bit of rotation on that. Today is one of those days where a lot of these storms are rotating. Good news is, or I guess right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings for these cells. Some broad rotation in both of those. These were tornado warned earlier, but we'll keep watching those areas. Broad rotation, nothing imminently tornadic. Some strong thunderstorms, though, between, let's see, zooming in a little bit here. Oh, north of Osceola and now east of Lowville. Some other areas that don't have a lot of formal communities. All right, back to the I-81 corridor, Pulaski, Sandy Creek. We had some viewers in this area earlier. No tornado warning yet for you guys around Richland, Boylston, Sandy Creek, Pulaski, even down towards Mexico. But watching this storm here, it's been riding along Lake Ontario for quite a while. Area rotation right here over New Haven and Shore Oaks. That has remained fairly broad, but it definitely is there. So we'll continue to monitor that. Definitely if you're here along I-81, keep an eye to your west here for this area here around New Haven. At the very least, with even in addition to the tornadic chance, it's going to have some small hail. Some of that is over Lake Ontario right now, but also wrapping back towards Shore Oaks. You can again see those purples and darker red colors. That indicates that larger hail, probably close to an inch. And that will be generally headed towards Pulaski. So if you are on the I-81 corridor, you may have a couple minutes to get the car in the garage, and then also get ready to get to that lowest level into your room, away from the doors and windows. I would not be surprised if we get an additional tornado warning that covers somewhere, something like that. I would almost expect it if that area rotation continues to hold, at least maintain its current strength. New area of tornado warning includes those areas west of Syracuse. This actually goes a little bit more into Syracuse than I originally thought it might. But Baldwinsville to Van Buren, Onondaga Lake, and then areas here just west of Syracuse, near Fairmount, Westview Manor, Kelly's Corner, Split Rock, Taunton, and Solvay, all in the tornado warning, as well as Long Branch, Van Buren, Liverpool, Newport. Area of rotation. This is that cell that came out of Geneva earlier today. You can still see that area rotation in here. It's right in here near halfway, just between New York 5 and the New York State Thruway. And yeah, there's its little hook on that, and then your inflow notch right here over Newport. That's your inflow notch. So pretty well structured supercell. And watching that area there of rotation just south of I-90 between Jack's Reef and Halfway. Tornado warning there around Syracuse. Lowest level into your room, away from those doors and windows, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Those storms further south in the Finger Lakes backed off the tornado warning for now, but are still area rotation around Interlaken. That'll be headed up towards Morovia, Genoa, Ledyard, and Locke. Still, if you can get to your lowest level into your room, quarter-size hail, tornado possible, and some damaging winds. That's along the lake here, along 89, and yeah, pretty dangerous cell right here near Interlaken Beach. Again, this area actually has a higher population, I think, in the summertime. So there's probably even more people in this area with all the lakeside cabins and vacation rentals this time of year than there may be some other times of year. And we've definitely seen a history of damage with these storms, including that one here around Van Buren right now. When it was around Geneva, trees down. Tree down in Waterloo, one large tree on a home, unknown injuries, trees and wires down. Again, don't know if they're tornadic damage reports or wind damage, either way. Actually, I want to take a closer look at this storm here. There's your area rotation right here. Not seeing any debris signature yet, but that area does seem to be tightening up a little bit near Newport and Van Buren. So keep a very close eye, hunker down here into your tornado safe space around Syracuse and especially west of town. And then also watching a little bit of area rotation on this storm near Mendon. Looks like that's elevated rotation. Taking a look at the closer radar site, not seeing that. Another severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible. This one here with rotation near Hornby. It moved through Corning earlier. This warning now covers Mentor Falls, Catherine, Millport, Newfield, Danby, and then Ithaca, New York, under a severe thunderstorm for damaging winds as well as a potential tornado possible in that storm. Lots of cells, I think I mentioned it a few times, are rotating. Some are not rotating to the level of a tornado warning, but the National Weather Service is doing a pretty good job of warning these potential tornado-producing storms. This storm here that was unwarned a few minutes ago, north of Lock Haven, is now getting a warning. Again, another severe thunderstorm tornado possible tag. Gallagher, Salisbury, and Jersey Mills. 60-mile-an-hour winds, small hail, tornado possible. Just want to look at this a little bit further. Yeah, you can see how quickly it's organized here in the last couple scans. Likely going to go north of Lock Haven. So yeah, I think this warning is pretty much spot on. It's more northeast bound. It should be away from Lock Haven, Jersey Shore, and Williamsport. A couple of the bigger communities in the West Branch Susquehanna River Valley. You may get a good view of some pretty good structure of a storm there if you look to your west. And again, following down, storms around Altoona, severe but non-tornadic at the moment. I don't see too many of these reports much, but there is a lightning strike report, a structure fire caused by lightning in St. Lawrence County, New York, near Star Lake. So yeah, even without tornadoes, there's a lot of dangerous lightning out here. Hopefully all the people that are in recreational activities and on the lakes are heeding those warnings, because yes, lightning can be deadly. Watching a couple areas here. This area near Mariah and I-87, and then they've backed off the tornado warning south of Lake Placid for now. That area is kind of broadened out around Keene, New York, but we'll continue to watch those. A lot of lightning is showing up in these storms. They're southwest of Burlington, Vermont, here in upstate New York, so we'll definitely keep an eye. Those are severe storms with tornadoes possible in those. And in very rural, wooded areas like that, you can sometimes get tornadoes and not even really know it. So this cell here, east of Louisville, is one of those storms that we were tracking a while back. It still has some broad rotation, not warned at the moment. But if that tightens up, that could be another warning. And that would be coming towards Racket Lake and Great Camp, Sagamore. Again, keep an eye on that storm. Likely at least a strong storm. And then also, still watching this area rotation near New Haven, between New Haven and Pulaski. We'll see if this gets a new warning. I think the warning just expired for areas here around Oswego and New Haven. Would not be surprised if this gets a new warning. And again, that could go out towards Pulaski, Sandy Creek. Either way, it's good to be kind of hunkered down. There's a lot of lightning with this storm too. And again, its area of rotation is riding right along the water. So Ramona Beach over towards Arthur. Between Ramona Beach and Shore Oaks is the area of rotation. Still seeing rotation in here near Newport. It's broadened a bit, so that's one good sign here, is this is coming into a pretty populated area around Syracuse. If you're in this warning, though, continue to stay in your tornado-safe space. Lowest level into your room and away from doors and windows. If you have a basement or a storm shelter, or one of those first levels of like a split level that's halfway below ground, those are certainly better than being on your top floor. Also watching a little bit of rotation in that storm back here near Port Byron. May have kind of two areas to watch there between Port Byron and Senate. Continue watching that storm too. A new tornado warning. This is for that cell around Interlaken. Now crossing the lake here into Kings Ferry Station, Weeks Corner, East Venice, Genoa, up towards Moravia, Ashland and Austin, and Stewart Corners here in central New York. That's for west or southeastern Seneca County and southwestern Cayuga County. Yeah, pretty dangerous storm here, right around Kings Ferry Station. New warnings going out. There's the replacement warning there. Two new warnings at the same time. So Pulaski, Sandy Creek, Richland, Orwell, Boylston. You guys had tornado warnings earlier. I mentioned you weren't clear, all clear for the rest of the day. And that looks like it's come true. Another tornado warned storm. Pulaski, Richland, Orwell, Sandy Creek, Boylston, all along I-81. And that'll move up towards Lorraine and Worth. Also very close to our radar site here. Hooker, Monteola, Otto Mills that had a confirmed tornado earlier today. All in this new warning. And let me get a read on this since we do have some people that have watched from this area. This one is moving east or northeast at 40. It's right near Sandy Island Beach State Park. So yes, this one has been riding the shoreline. It's now about to come off Lake Ontario. Ramona Beach, this area here just to the west of Pulaski. That's your area rotation. Pretty big warning. This covers quite a bit. Northeast at 40. Northeast at 40 puts it into Port Ontario in less than 4 minutes. Pulaski about 5 or 6 minutes. And then Boylston about 20. Further north, Greensboro 26, Parker's 45, and Bellwood 48. And see here some of the other communities in this path of this area of circulation. Pretty populated area here just along Lake Ontario. So definitely take your tornado safety precautions. Lowest level into your room, away from those doors and windows. Not seeing any CC drop with this yet. Still pretty tight area circulation. Ramona Beach over to Farmers Corners. Just on the southwest side of Pulaski. Zooming in a little further, Daysville. And then also the storm to its south also got an extension of this tornado warning. This is for areas here north side of Syracuse. So Bridgeport, Clay, Van Buren, and Salina, New York. All along New York State Thruway here. There's our area rotation right over Van Buren. That'll continue moving towards the lake here near Bridgeport. And let me see if they've added anything here to this warning. This is also northeast at 40. Northeast at 40. I'll take it again kind of from the leading edge of this rotation. Seneca Knolls 1 minute or less. Red Rock about 3 minutes. Long Branch 3 minutes. Liverpool about 5 minutes. Salina about 8 to 5 minutes. North Syracuse 11 minutes. Cicero 17. And then Lower South Bay 19. Crouse Landing 20, Valentine Beach 20. I assume that's right here along the Oneida Lake. About 20 minutes from there. So if you know anyone that's out on the lake, get them off the lake. Tornado warning storm here approaching in about 20 minutes. in addition to that, a lot of lightning with this storm. I'm also kind of concerned with the storm here behind it, although it doesn't look like it is rotating like it was a few minutes ago. We'll keep an eye on that storm, though, too. New tornado warning. This includes Ithaca, New York. Both of these cells have increased their rotation. They had broad rotation a little bit ago, but near Millport, up to Catherine, Odessa, Newfield, Danby, and then Ithaca, New York. So a pretty big community there. This is moving east at 35 near Millport right now. It's moving just north of due east. Millport about 5 minutes or less. Odessa about 10 minutes. Catherine about 10 to 14. And then Ithaca, New York about 35 to 38 minutes, depending on which part of town you're on. East Ithaca about 40 minutes. And Newfield, looks like a pretty big community there. Newfield about 25. So pretty populated area there. Let's take a look at this storm to the north near Genoa. Approaching Genoa and Moravia. Looks like at least some damaging winds. This area has broadened a bit into a shear line. Still could get an area of rotation to tighten up around, especially around that area, Ledyard. I think that's how you pronounce it. But the rest of this area also has some damaging wind potential coming through Genoa. So the tornadoes kind of briefly ramped down for a few minutes there. And they are back here now with 6 tornado warnings. 5 of those are in New York. Clear this out for a minute. And then 1 is in Pennsylvania here at the moment. We'll also take a look at our Pennsylvania tornado warning while we're down here near Wellsboro and Blossburg. Still seeing that rotation in here near Blossburg. We'll see if that gets extended out. If not, this has a tornado possible tag that includes Mansfield and Blossburg along US 15. Really well-traveled highway here. So if you can get to a safe space, lowest level interior room, away from those doors and windows. We'll also take a look here at this storm near Gallagher. Rotating pretty good there near Gallagher. That's coming up towards Jersey Mills, English Mills, Ramsey, Toombs Run, and Waterville here in north central Pennsylvania. Scattered storms, strong to severe around State College and points south of State College, but no tornado warnings down there. We'll also look at our storms here near Burlington and the I-87 corridor. Still some rotation in this storm near Mariah. And the rotation has backed off quite a bit in the storm near Keene. So that's some good sign there, at least for now. Taking a look at this storm, again, it's kind of rotating again. Would not be surprised if this gets a tornado warning. Not seeing any CC drop yet, and it's probably not to the level of a tornado warning, but if it does tighten up, this is going very similar to a storm earlier that we looked at. North of Inlet, around Racket Lake, Inlet, and eventually towards Blue Mountain Lake and Long Lake. Yeah, you guys already had some storms warned earlier, but that's moving your direction. We'll continue to watch that storm. And then radar indicated tornado warning here over Pulaski, New York. Good news is the rotation has remained kind of broad. Not seeing any CC drop with this at the current moment, but still stay in your safe space. Pulaski, Sandy Creek, Richland, Orwell, Boylston. That area rotation is crossing I-81 right now, just around the Pulaski area. We can see here we have winds going away from the radar, and then a pretty good surge of winds going towards the radar here. Where is our radar site? Oh yeah, our radar site's right here. So yeah, we have winds going away from the radar here in the reds, and then winds surging towards the radar in the greens. But you can see it is kind of broad rotation. The reds and greens aren't exactly touching each other yet. There's a lot of little gray pixels here between the reds and the greens. So that's indicating there's that broad rotation. The wind's going away from the radar and down here near Pulaski towards the radar. These things do kind of expand and contract a little bit. So just kind of one of the cycles of these cyclic supercells. Right now it's broader rotation, but within a scan or two, it could tighten up. And we'll watch that here. So still a dangerous tornadic supercell. Pulaski up to Richland, Orwell, Voria, New Scriba, Smartville, Greenboro, Auto Mills, Plants Corners, Boylston, Hooker, Monteola, Worth Center, Worth, and Barnes Corners. There it is. There's the new scan. It is a little bit tighter. So just within the one scan here, we can see there's still some gray in here. Some of these gray pixels indicating it's not the tightest rotation, but we can see there's some greens and some reds that are a bit tighter to each other. So this does seem to be tightening up. We'll look for trends like that in a couple scans. But yeah, that is a dangerous cell here around Pulaski and Richland here in New York. Also taking a look at our storm here near Syracuse. And taking a look at that storm. Let me just right here near Clay, Long Branch, North Syracuse. That's your area rotation. Very busy area here along I-90, along I-81, North Syracuse, Cicero. A very busy, very populated area. We can take a look here. One good news is we're not seeing any deep CC drops. And likely in a populated area like that, we would be if there was a tornado on the ground. But this is a very dangerous storm. Clay, Cicero, North Syracuse, over towards Cicero Center, Brown Center, Krause Landing, and Bridgeport. Syracuse downtown, you guys don't have a warning right now. If you're in downtown Syracuse, I would not drive to the north at the moment. Just stay where you are and let this storm pass. If you're leaving Syracuse and you're headed up 81, just don't. Just back this out for a second and I'll grab my food here is just sitting here. So I just got to quickly down this food real quick. Okay, we're back. A little take care of the dog too. Um, 3 tornado warnings here in kind of the 81 corridor. We'll take a look at this one near Pulaski. It's now near Boylston. Still rotation in here south of Boylston near Greenboro. Not seeing any debris signature with that storm. Still watching this cell. It's unwarned right now. It's out in the mountains here. But it's north of Inlet and northwest of Racket Lake. With a pretty good area rotation on it. So keep an eye on that one if you're north of Route 28 here in upstate New York. Eventually over towards Long Lake. And then further south, still radar indicated tornado. This is coming out of the Syracuse metro. Krause Landing. It's been extended over towards Cleveland, Bernards Bay, Nicholsville, Dutcherville, Maple Flats, over towards Thompson Corners and Camden, New York. All the way up towards Williamstown. That's a pretty dangerous supercell here. We have our area rotation right near Cicero Center and Krause Landing. I was looking at this storm earlier. Let me see. It does have a little bit of rotation. This storm behind it near Long Branch. We'll have to keep an eye on that storm too. Looking at this a little bit further, let's see. Let's get a little bit of a time for you. Cicero Center right about now, as well as Krause Landing, Valentine's Beach, and Doris Park about 5 minutes. And then across the way, Dutcherville, Cleveland, about 10 to 15 minutes. Maple Flats, about 19 to 20 minutes. And then Camden, about 25 to 30 minutes. All on the north side of Syracuse. Again, Syracuse downtown, you guys are okay. I'd still wait a few more minutes to travel north of Syracuse along 81. And really, if you can, let this other storm pass. It's not as tornadic, but it's still a pretty strong storm. And there's a lot of lightning and heavy rain here north of Syracuse. So the tornadic part of the circulation is right over Cicero Center, approaching Krause Landing. Actually now just about off into the water here, Lower Bay and Krause Landing. But I would just let the rest of this storm pass. There's a lot of heavy rain here up towards Central Square. Back towards Rochester, storms are non-severe at the moment. Still some broad rotation in the storm near Marion. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Other big storm, considerable threat, lime-sized hail, severe thunderstorm. This is near Spatford, Kelloggsville, and eventually approaching Tully and Tully Lake. Right here is your larger hailstorm. The storm is also tornado warned with the rotation around Sempronius, coming up towards Grout Mill, Scott, and Preble. That's a dangerous supercell there. This is that storm that came out of Genoa earlier. Another storm here over Genoa. This is not tornado warned, but does have a little bit of broad rotation on that, so we'll keep an eye on that storm. And then another storm with some larger hail and also a tornado possible right near Enfield, approaching Ithaca, New York. That storm with the rotation is between Enfield and Trumbull Corners right now. Further south towards Mansfield, Pennsylvania, area rotation, watching that storm pretty closely. And then further south, tornado possible tag on this storm northwest of Williamsport, PA. Again, we can see that broad rotation there. That is up along 287 near Little Round Top. Further south, strong storms approaching Bellefonte State College, down towards Mount Union, but those storms are non-severe at the moment. And then also watching storms developing here in the mountains, the Shenandoah Valley, Front Royal down to Lynchburg. Non-severe at the moment, but there's a severe thunderstorm watch for damaging winds and potential for a couple tornadoes. Also, didn't touch that the last time we went through the storm. There is some rotation here in the storm south of Burlington, Vermont. It's pushing into Vermont here from upstate New York. So we definitely have to watch this storm here as well. That's near Ferrisburg. It'll eventually be over towards Starksboro. Very busy day here of severe weather ongoing here in especially New York and northern Pennsylvania at the moment. Some good news is some areas that have been hit pretty hard earlier today. Buffalo, Batavia, areas west of Rochester, and then down towards Jamestown, New York, Dunkirk, and areas along Lake Erie here. You guys have been cleared from the tornado watch. So have a good evening, clean up all that storm damage, and at least you guys are done with the severe weather. That extends also down into Erie, Meadville, Oil City, Sandy, St. Mary's, Bradford, Pennsylvania, and then also Altoona and Clearfield, Pennsylvania, have all been cleared. Not quite yet. State College, we'll kind of wait for this. We'll wait for this line to clear you guys, but essentially there's a cold front right in this area here that will really cut off the severe weather in Pennsylvania once that cold front passes. Things are a bit more complicated in New York and upstate New York. The cold front kind of comes back towards the Buffalo area, but then there's also a warm front with the low pressure somewhat in here. So you have your cold front and then a warm front. That means areas like Burlington, Watertown, Syracuse, there may be some other opportunities to get some severe weather in here. That's why we're not seeing just one round of severe weather. This is really like the second or third round for parts of these areas here in upstate New York. Taking a look at this one, this is real close to the radar site, so we can get a pretty good view. Still broad rotation showing up between Greensboro and Hooker right now, north of Otto Mills. Watching some rotation on some of these other cells here too. This one particularly coming in to the west of Long Lake is looking a little more organized. Again, here we can see the greens going towards the radar and the reds going away from the radar, and you can see they are touching here. So a bit tighter rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if this holds as a tight rotation another scan or two, that this gets us some type of warning. That's coming over towards Long Lake. South of Syracuse, this is towards Spafford. We have a considerable threat, 70-mile-an-hour wind, lime-sized hail, and a tornado potential. That area of circulation right here is between Scott and Spafford along New York 41. That'll be headed up towards Tully Lake Park, Tully, and Bromley. If you're in this warning, please take this seriously. And even if you're not in that direct path of the circulation, it's a good idea to hunker down like it's a tornado, because 70-mile-an-hour winds and lime-sized hail can do a lot of damage on its own. This is a really well-structured supercell. We see the hook down here. We see the hail core in here along Spafford. Here's your inflow notch. Here's your RFD surging out on the backside. Here's your forward flank downdraft and ventilation out on the front face. Yeah, really nice, well-structured supercell. And then we see that in the velocity scan here. Right here is your area rotation hiding in that little notch. A very well-defined supercell, especially for this part of the country that we've seen these kind of supercells today. Multiple, very well-structured supercells. Ithaca, New York, you have this area circulation closing in on you here. It's out along 79, approaching the west side of Ithaca with a tornado-warned storm. Taking a second here. I want to try and get that second monitor back up here. Oh, hey, MT, getting hammered already. Yeah, but my second monitor was down, so I did not see the chat very easily. So sorry if I'm being rude and kind of missed some of the chat. Getting hammered north along I-81. Yeah, I would assume so. Let's see. Our camera back. Gonna give this a go with the second monitor. We'll see if it works. I'm hoping it does because it's a lot easier to have the second monitor. I can have the camera up. Okay. That should be good. Hopefully. Technology is sometimes a pain in the butt. Very good rotation now showing up here near Troy. This is in that storm that now has a tornado possible tag right along the Pennsylvania and New York border. Waverly, New York, Barton, New York, Wellsburg, New York, and then into Pennsylvania, Ridgebury, Sayre, Litchfield, Springfield, Troy, and Sylvania. If this holds together, would not be surprised if this gets a tornado warning. It's a little bit further from the radar, so it's at least some pretty strong upper level rotation. We'll have to see if it if that holds another couple scans that may get a tornado warning. Probably for somewhat of the same area. Springfield, Troy, up to Litchfield and Sayre, Waverly on the New York side. A pretty dangerous looking storm. And then this storm here also has a severe thunderstorm tornado possible north of Williamsport. You can see that area rotation here. It'll be approaching US 15 north of Williamsport. Again, a pretty well-traveled highway here, so getting into a little bit more population too. White Pine, Brookside, over towards Trout Run, Steam Valley, and Cogan Station. And then following this storm may be trying to rotate also near Mount Eagle. Not seeing true rotation yet, but we're seeing a pretty good surge of winds here. So we'll have to see what that storm does with that. And then still no severe storms right now in our severe thunderstorm watch area. Taking a look at our storm here through the I-81 corridor. It's near the radar site right now. Still some broad rotation, but it's actually backed off, and they've actually dropped the tornado warning. But this is still a pretty strong storm, eventually towards Grieg, Watson, and Lowville. Again, we'll kind of keep an eye on that one. It may try and spin back up. And then also we were watching another storm over here. This one has some decent rotation approaching Long Lake in upstate New York. So keep an eye on that storm. And then also the other storm here south of Burlington in Vermont. A little bit of rotation near Charlotte. This is mostly a hail and wind storm. 60-mile-an-hour wind. That's approaching Burlington. Likely get a new severe thunderstorm watch or warning covering that area. That is, I think, the first severe weather in Vermont today. So kind of just getting going there in Vermont. Back down to the south near Camden. This is over Oneida Lake at the moment. Approaching Cleveland, Maple Flats, Thompson Corners, Dibbletown. Mm. New tornado warning coming out here in just a second. All right, that did not work. Getting the second monitor up and running again, so I'll worry about that later. Again, chat may be a little bit quiet here, as I can't really pull it up as easily. Okay, that area rotation near Sylvania and Troy and Springfield, Pennsylvania, did get a tornado warning. And pretty much what I kind of expected is that area rotation stayed in another scan or two. Here it is, right along Pennsylvania 14 between Sylvania and Springfield. And basically that whole severe thunderstorm warning got replaced with a tornado warning. So Springfield, Sheshequin, Orwell, Litchfield, Sayre, and Ridgebury in Pennsylvania. On the New York side, Chemung, Waverly, Litchfield, Barton, Smithborough, and Glencairn, all under a tornado warning there. Right on the New York state line. I-86 dips right down to the state line right here. This is a pretty populated area. Waverly, South Waverly, and Sayre here in the southern tier of New York, and then north central Pennsylvania. So watching this area with some concern as that moves up to the north and east. Eventually, actually, if it continues moving to the north and east, that may be an issue for Binghamton eventually. A little too early to fully call that an issue yet, but it's about 49 miles to the southwest of Binghamton, and it's moving northeast. Haven't seen a ton of direction changes today. The storms have been fairly steady in their movement, so do keep an eye on that if you're in the Binghamton metro. New tornado possible, severe thunderstorm. This is coming out for that storm near Williamsport, and especially just north of Williamsport along US 15, Trout Run, Calvert, Gray, Marsh Hill, Kellysburg, Hopstown, Proctor. Again, it's pretty dangerous cell there. And that's about to cross 15 and Trout Run. So if you don't have to leave Williamsport right now, maybe a good idea not to. This storm is trying to rotate. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on that one. It does have a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Beach Creek, Lamar. That will affect Lock Haven. Does not have a tornado possible tag, and I would agree with that. It's not rotating quite yet, but it just has the look like it's going to try and rotate. Also affecting I-80 here around Lock Haven. This cell to the south that's unwarned does seem to be organizing as well here along US 22 near Little Kansas, Pennsylvania. Have to keep an eye on that storm too. It's kind of been a ragged cluster of storms, and it may be kind of organizing there, so we'll watch that one. All right, going back to the top here. Again, strong storms with gusty winds near Burlington and Point South. We pick up the tornado possible tag here near Mariah and North Hudson, and also down into Minerva, New York. Both of these cells are rotating. And moving basically northeast. So areas along 87 from Mariah down towards North Hudson, Minerva, and then Ticonderoga. You guys all should be in at least a lower level and away from doors and windows. If you can, put as many walls between you and the outside. Not fully into your basement or storm shelter, but just have a plan of action and get ready to take that if you need to. We pick up some more storms that are now below severe limits. This one is rotating here near Long Lake. Kind of keeping an eye on that one. Some broad rotation around Lowville. This storm might try again. It's the one that came off the lake and was tornado warned near Pulaski and Richland. It may try to rotate again. It's starting to get that look again. We have our inflow notch here. It's surging a little bit of outflow winds. We'll see if it can tighten up that rotation. I would agree right now it's not being tornado warned. It's not tornadic at the moment, but just continue to keep an eye on that one, especially if you're out ahead of this towards Turin, Lionsdale, and Gregg. And then we pick up our other tornado warning south of Camden, near Long Crossing in Cleveland, Maple Flats, Thompson Corner, Dibbletown, north sides of Vienna. This rotation has broadened a little bit near Cleveland and Maple Flats, so that's one good sign. Likely going through a bit of a cycle. These storms, mentioned that earlier, they do cycle, they're broad in rotation, and then they retighten it once they get their inflow notch tightened back up. This one looks like it might try and do that again. Destructive severe thunderstorm here. Ping pong ball sized hail, and also a radar indicated tornado. This is that area near Tully. It's being extended out towards Pompey, Perkin Corner, Union, New Woodstock, Sheds, Puckerville, Keeney, Fabius, Jerome Corners, and Collingwood. Again, a very dangerous storm. Pretty good rotation on this here near Tully. And then just north of Tully from Vesper over towards Jerome Corners. That's where your hail core is, Collingwood. This is some pretty big hail in here. Also along US 11. It's going to be drifting towards Union and Perkin Corners with this hail core. Especially it looks like pretty good hail potential along New York Route 80 here. And then your tornadic part of the storm is going to ride kind of along 80 and especially 80 to the south. That means, where you are in this warning doesn't really matter. Treat this like it's a tornado anywhere. When you have wind-driven ping pong ball sized hail, that's going to do some damage. And then back to our storm here near Ithaca. It looks like it actually just kind of drifted just to the north of downtown. So it's on the northeast side of Ithaca at the moment. Not rotating as strongly as it was earlier. Definitely has a nice structured look to it, but near Turpin and Corners, West Dryden. This is about to leave the tornado warning, so we'll also see if they get extended. This may go back down to a severe thunderstorm tornado possible. Just by the look of it. Let me just check a couple of these other cells. Here's one right here. Near Kanoa and Bath. Pretty good rotation in this one, coming up towards Cold Spring. We'll keep an eye on that one. Likely similar to other cells, the National Weather Service is monitoring these cells, and if they hold rotation for a couple different scans, each of these radar scans is about 4 to 6 minutes in time. So when you have a rotation that holds for a scan or two, then you know it's kind of a pretty steady area rotation that's been holding for, say, 8 to 10 minutes or 12 minutes. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. That's right near 86 and 390. Pretty small cell, but that one could start to rotate. And then this one here, near Springfield, Pennsylvania, there's that rotation still ongoing. It's approaching eventually Sayre, Litchfield, and 220. Also Waverly and South Waverly on the Pennsylvania side and New York side of the border there. Still taking a look at this one here near Trout Run. Pretty good rotation. This one's still trying. We'll see. And then we do have a new severe thunderstorm watch. So let's cover our friends in a minute. And probably the people that are watching this, I've been a bit of a broken record just going down those lists of tornado warnings. Some pictures just retweeting here at WeatherCastUSA on X. Looks like some tornado ground scouring is what the tweet is, but I would say it's more of a crop damage path. Here you can see the tornado through some damaged crops in Erie County. Let's take a look here at what the National Weather Service is saying. Tornado threat continues. The greatest risk in the near term is near that warm front. That stretches from basically Vermont and New Hampshire all the way back to about Syracuse, and then down along that line from Syracuse, Ithaca to Elmira and Williamsport. Pretty much that area that we've been covering. And then the new severe thunderstorm watch includes parts of Nebraska, a little bit of Kansas, southern Iowa, and northern Missouri. That goes until 10 p.m. Central Time. Scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour are likely, and at least half-inch diameter hail, or inch-and-a-half diameter hail. That's an area that's been upgraded by the Storm Prediction Center over the afternoon. Severe hail and strong severe wind gusts are possible with those storms that are moving south-southeast, and that's going to increase in coverage 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time. Taking a look at these storms here, let's take these ones. Let's just take them west to east, and then we'll go back to our tornado storms in New York. You can see here some big hail cores. These are bright purple colors. Near Shenandoah and Essex, here in northwest Missouri, quarter-size hail and quarter-size hail 60-mile-an-hour winds. Would not be surprised if this gets an upgrade for the hail. When we start seeing those deeper purples and pink colors, that indicates some larger hail in here too. That's all coming towards Farragut, Shenandoah, Bingham, High Creek, Norwich, Yorktown, Bethesda, and Hepburn here in northwest Missouri. We also pick up some severe storms. Oh, this is our favorite little radar hole. There is a massive radar hole in northeast Missouri and southeast Iowa. If you live out here, call your senator and get a radar. I have to basically use, and the National Weather Service has to basically use radars in Des Moines, radars in the Quad Cities, or the radars in St. Louis and Kansas City to try and figure out what's going on in this area around Kirksville. Yeah, they're both not great, so it's hard to really tell what's going on. 60-mile-an-hour winds and some small hail likely. Wouldn't be surprised if this one gets upgraded. This one has some larger hail near Florence, Iowa. And yeah, you can see that big... This may form a bit of a cluster of storms. We'll have to see if that continues to cluster up and organize. That may form a bit of an MCS that rides down towards Quincy, Columbia, Missouri, and St. Louis. So keep an eye on those. We'll have to see if they cluster up. Also some storms here with some large hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds in the Quad Cities, especially north and west of town. That area's picked up a little bit. We've had about a 2-inch hail report. Golf ball size hail along Highway 18 in Sheldon, Iowa earlier today. So these storms definitely mean a little business down there. All right, back to our tornado watch area. This warning here did get extended south of Burlington up towards Morristown, Stowe. Strong storm around Heinsberg right now. That'll head along I-89 from Burlington down to Middlesex, Vermont. And then watching the tornado possible tags with these two storms, the one near Mariah and then one now east of Minerva in New York. Both of these storms showing some rotation. It's a bit weak, so not to the level of a tornado yet. But if you're in the Ticonderoga, North Hudson, Mariah areas, please just be inside, away from windows. If you can, be on your lowest level. That way, if you have to make your tornado action plan and put that into practice, you're ready to do so. Still watching this storm. Had a tornado warning on it earlier. I think it's going to try again. It's starting to try and wrap that inflow in. Well, it also has a pretty broad outflow right now. Yeah, we'll see if that can tighten back up. Its RFD is a bit broad, so you can see this surge of wind out on the southern flank here. Compared to a tighter RFD wrapping back into that inflow notch is really what we look for. There's a bit of that, but not to the level of what I would say is tornadic at the moment. And likely the National Weather Service is watching this too. And you can kind of see that broad outflow pushing a bit of a line out this way. We really want to see that wrap a little bit tighter. Still a pretty dangerous storm. Let's see. Greg, Watson, and then we get up into the Adirondacks. So Brantingham, Grigg, Glenfield, Houseville. Keep an eye on this one. Martinsburg. Just good to keep an eye on this area here. Back to the I-81 corridor from Watertown, Sackett's Harbor, Adams, Sandy Creek, Pulaski, Hastings, Central Square, and into Syracuse. Warnings have cleared out of that area for now. Not ready to fully call it done yet. There's no warnings back here with these storms, but they're still in a pretty favorable environment, so we do have to watch them. And we see that the National Weather Service hasn't really dropped this area from the warning or for the watch yet either. So still some time to go before you can fully be clear of severe weather. This storm is going to get dropped from the tornado warning. It has broad rotation. It's actually kind of tightened up in the last scan. It was broader just a minute ago. But Ansville up to Ava, still need to pay attention to this tornadic part of the storm. Boonville as well. We'll just keep an eye on that one in case it tightens back up. And then south of Syracuse, along I-81 near Lafayette and Pompeii. This is a dangerous supercell here with ping pong ball sized hail. Area rotation right here near Fabius. And again, your larger hail is riding just along and north of New York 80. So Fabius up to Collingwood, Jerome Corners, Pompeii, and eventually over towards Union. That's going to be where some of the larger hail is in this storm. Watching that area circulation along New York 80, Fabius over to New Woodstock. Still stay in your safe place there. The storm that was through Ithaca earlier did get lowered down to a tornado possible tag. Still seeing pretty good rotation in this, but it's not, that may be a little bit of contamination. I'll keep an eye on that one. That's coming up towards Cortland, Homer, Munson Corner, Polkville, McGraw, and Stallone. We'll keep an eye on that one. That may be a little bit of contamination there. Either way, it still has this hook on it, so we'll continue to monitor that. Also, $half size hail is a potential, especially in this area near Groton and Morton's Corners. Ithaca, still also watching you guys. There's a bit of rotation in this storm near Bath and Hammondsport. I noted that earlier. It's still kind of been there. It hasn't really intensified, but it's there still. So we'll keep an eye on this storm. That'll eventually move towards Urbana and Starkey, and eventually Hector here in the Finger Lakes region of New York. And then down here, right along the New York border with Pennsylvania, Sayre, Waverly, Litchfield, back towards Springfield, Pennsylvania. That's where our area rotation is, near Middletown and Big Pond. Not seeing any defined CC drop with that, so that's some good news for now. And then also this crossed US 15 north of Williamsport, a tornado possible severe thunderstorm near Marsh Hill, coming up towards Langdon, Ralston, and Ellenton. Some small hail possible there. This is that other storm that is a severe warning for some small hail and gusty winds near Lock Haven. You can see those gusty winds in here. This one has tried to rotate a couple times, not doing so much. But looking at the wind field, there's at least some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds in here, so definitely worth the severe thunderstorm warning. And then also wanted to check in on this storm near Lewiston and Granville, Pennsylvania. Does have some little broad rotation in it, so we'll keep an eye on that storm here in central Pennsylvania. We pick up storms along the front range here of the Appalachian Mountains, Charlottesville down to Lynchburg, areas near Front Royal and Warrenton, but no severe storms yet in this severe thunderstorm watch area. Don't believe we've had any all day in this watch area, so kind of just waiting for that severe weather to possibly occur in the mid-Atlantic there. And then we'll take a look here, some scattered storms here in northern Illinois, with the stronger storms here west of Davenport. You can see they are riding an outflow boundary. Yeah, particularly this storm here, riding an outflow boundary for some earlier storms. We can see that outflow boundary draped across Iowa City, and then actually right across Davenport. So keep an eye on that storm. Sometimes those outflow boundaries can enhance localized shear and at least add to a short-term tornado threat. I don't see one specifically here yet, but just keep an eye on it. That one also has some small hail in there. And then also watching some strong storms here in northern Missouri, especially around Kirksville. And then back here into southwest Iowa near Shenandoah. Pretty good hailstorm here. And then also the one next to it is also a pretty good hailstorm near Yorktown. Still, while we're a little bit lower in the tornadoes right now, 3 tornado warnings. We'll get back to those in a few seconds. So just trying to cover a little bit of the other areas of the country that have some severe weather. This poor town, Ruidoso, New Mexico, earlier in the spring, heavily damaged areas by wildfires, and now they've had the last day or so thunderstorms that have sat over the mountains and created catastrophic flash flooding. That has been even worse. That the mountains around Ruidoso have been burn scarred, so there's just a lot of bare dirt, and that just creates mud flows, and the rain just washes right down the mountains without any vegetation on them. So this area has had a massive weather issue over the last couple months with the wildfires, and then now a flash flood emergency still ongoing there. That's also along US 70 towards Glencoe, Alto, and Sierra Vista, Ruidoso, New Mexico. It's hard to see because we're up in the mountains and the radar doesn't hit there, but just looking at it, there's likely more storms in this area, which is why there's still the flash flood emergency. We can see the lightning signatures from some of those. Yeah, that's just not good. You can see a few of those storms more out in the valleys here, but yeah, those extend out into the mountains, and we can see a little bit of that with the lightning. That is unfortunate there. Okay, back to the East Coast here. Getting a little more concerned with these two storms. Area of rotation here. And then the other area of rotation now east of Minerva. About to cross I-87. They may try and do something here. These are looking pretty discrete supercells with, again, that good structure. So this one is headed towards Ticonderoga. If the one near Mariah holds together, it's going into Vermont from New York State. That'll be over towards Middlebury in a little while. Definitely keep an eye on those. Get ready to have your tornado action plan in place and get ready to take action on that. This area has had a massive amount of rain with rounds of severe storms. We have another flash flood emergency in the areas here east of I-81 towards New Bremen, Lowville, Denmark, along New York 812, and along New York 12. Catastrophic observed flash flooding. See the details here. Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain. Additional rainfall up to about an inch are possible in this warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing. Flash flooding of small creeks and streams in the urban areas, on streets and overpasses. Just trying to see if there's an actual... Okay, yeah, there is. Public reported flash flooding. So this has been officially reported here in this area. Again, please turn around, don't drown. Don't cross flooded roadways. It's annoying. What is it? It's 4:13 Central Time, so it's 5:13 on the East Coast. I know it can be really annoying that you just want to get home from work. It's 5 o'clock, and your normal way home from work is cut off by a stream that's flooded over the road. It's really annoying, but just take the long way home. This storm also had a tornado possible tag rotation near Ansville, moving up towards Ava and Boonville, New York. Keep an eye on that one. It was tornado warned as it came across the areas here north of Syracuse. And we have some damage reports coming in from that storm. North Syracuse, New York, tree down across the northbound lanes of 481. Traffic backed up. Trees and wires down near Woodard, New York. I think we'll see more damage reports come in here as the evening continues. Area rotation kind of broadened a little bit in this storm. South of Pompeii. It's eventually going to probably get an extension here towards Nelson and Cazenovia. This one also has some larger hail in it, $half dollar size hail. That's coming across this area, actually around Cazenovia and Pompeii right now. That's a dangerous supercell. And then this one, tornado possible near Cortland and Homer. Still seeing some rotation in here. Not like it was earlier, but still, if you can be in your interior room on the lowest level around the Cortland area, that's always a good thing. It's also going to affect I-81 in the Cortland metro. Also McGraw, Salone, East River, East Homer, Munson Corners, all affected by this storm. Dryden, you guys are good. Virgil, you're good. And areas around Ithaca are good right now. Not a all clear for the day, just an all clear for this particular storm. West Dryden, the storm has passed you guys. And Virgil, this storm is going to go well to your north by about 4 to 5 miles. That also likely will mean Freetown and Freetown Corners. You guys are going to be okay too. Even though you're in the warning, this is mostly a problem for Cortland and points north. Okay, I mentioned this storm. We just talked about it. They're going to back off a little bit of the hail, and I'd agree with that. We're not seeing those brighter purple colors. There's a few little darker reds and purples in here, but it's not like what we saw earlier. So backed off to tornado possible, quarter-size hail, and 60-mile-an-hour winds. That includes areas around Morrisville, Stockbridge, Nelson. Again, keep an eye on this storm. It may be cycling. It has broad rotation. But yes, not to the level of a tornadic rotation at the moment. And Ithaca, still watching you guys. There's a little bit of rotation in the storm near Urbana. This is that storm that was near Bath earlier. That's a pretty strong storm. Out of the storms that are scattered here in western New York, that one seems to be the strongest at the moment. Yeah, in this area in western New York that got hit pretty hard earlier today, you guys are clear of the tornado and severe threat. So have a good evening and good luck cleaning up. It's always nice that if you did get some storm damage, you get a little bit of clear time here to clean up before the sun goes down. Still watching this storm too. It's near Ralston, Pennsylvania, rotating here, coming up towards Ellenton. Well north of Williamsport at the moment. And then that other storm that we were watching here near Sayre and Waverly still has rotation in it. Actually, it's not the strongest area rotation, but it's a decently tight area rotation. Not seeing anything on the debris on the CC program that would point to a debris ball or anything. So yeah, decently tight area rotation though. So that one is worth watching. Waverly, Sayre, Athens, Pennsylvania, and then also into New York, Glencairn, Barton, Smithborough, Hoopers Valley, Litchfield, Waverly, and Chemung, all in this tornado warning. So please continue to be in your safe space, lowest level, away from windows, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. There's that storm around Ralston. And also checking the storm around Lock Haven. It's the storm that I saw earlier that I said was going to try and rotate. I would consider this to be rotation now. Now we're starting to see a little more of the reds here going away from the radar, and a little bit of these greens, they're kind of showing as grays right now, going towards the radar. We're looking at the radar site out of State College. So not strong rotation, it's broad and weak. And it's outflow dominant rotation at the moment. But it definitely looks healthier than it did earlier. We can see it's maybe starting to clear an inflow notch. Right in this area here, there's a little bit of weak echoes. So we'll see if this can tighten up. This one is another storm that I was watching to see if it tightens the rotation too. It is not yet, but it's also trying near Lewistown, Pennsylvania, along 322 and US 22. Pretty populated area here in Lewistown. That's also probably has some small hail in this here near Burnham and Highland Park as well. Wouldn't be surprised if that storm also got a severe thunderstorm, maybe a tornado possible tag. Couple storm reports coming out of these storms here in southern Iowa and northern Missouri. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust in Putnam County, Missouri. Those storms right now are over towards Memphis, Missouri. Again, being warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds. Also back here in Iowa, Osceola, Iowa. Tower blown down at a dispatch office in Clark County. Numerous trees down, 14 to 16 inches in diameter. Estimated winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. That is a crazy report right there. And then 62-mile-an-hour wind report, Clark County, train spotter, and nearly an inch of rain in 30 minutes. This area in southern Iowa has been hit pretty hard today. We'll continue to watch storms in southern Iowa and then into northern Missouri. Also still watching those storms here with 60-mile-an-hour winds around Davenport and the Quad Cities. A couple stronger storms in south central Florida today. And then some scattered storms still here in the coastal areas of Texas as people clean up here from Beryl earlier this week. At the very least, some of these scattered showers and storms may cut down the heat a little bit, although it's still very hot and humid in here. So there's still a lot of people without power, which is a really sad situation. Yeah, this is the aftermath of Beryl is going to be the devastating amount of heat that is occurring behind Beryl and with a lot of areas here without power. It's 97 degrees in Sugar Land, Texas. And Harris County, Texas has 70% of their customers without power right now. That continues up here. Huntsville, Texas, 92 degrees. And some of these counties here around Lake Livingston have 70+% of people without power. We can also check, while I'm looking at it, just want to check in on some of these areas here in New York. Livingston County, New York, about 13 to 14% without power. That includes Geneseo, York, Mount Morris, Dansville. That area had some pretty strong storms earlier today. And also some minor power outages around Pittsburgh. So some good news here while we were looking at those power outage reports. This just cleared Batavia, Rochester, Richmond, Farmington, and Williamson. You guys are all clear down towards Wellsville and Amity in New York. You guys are all clear of the tornado watch. So good news now, you can kind of officially start the cleanup process and not have to worry about more tornadoes coming. There are some scattered showers and storms still in this area between Buffalo and Rochester, but none of those are severe. All right, we had a bunch of new severe thunderstorm warnings since I was checking out some of the other parts of the country here. So taking a look at these storms here, The one here near Addison does not look as strong as it did earlier. It's hard to say. We're up in the mountains here near Stowe. So 60-mile-an-hour winds and some small hail possible. Can't really see those storms up in the mountains. This one here along 87, North Hudson, Crown Point, and Ticonderoga still has a tornado possible tag. Kind of broad circulation at the moment. So some good news there. Probably not imminently tornadic. This is another area that's been hit with rounds of rain. So there's a gauge indicated flash flood warning for a lot of these areas here, from Saranac Lake down towards Ticonderoga. So again, turn around, don't drown. And still watching this area here near Lowville. Kind of broad rotation. It might start to rotate again. This storm here now east of Watson and New Bremen. A bunch more severe thunderstorm warnings are popping up. This storm here to the north is also rotating a bit, so we'll have to watch that one as well. This one also has a tornado possible tag. Now east of Ansville, headed up towards Forestport, Steuben, and Boonville. Can see that broad rotation there. Non-tornadic at the moment. This storm also has a tornado possible tag near Casanova, Nelson, and Morrisville, New York. Kind of the same story. We're seeing a broader area of rotation. Not tornadic at the moment. But this one has some larger hail in it, so continue to stay hunkered down. And again, another one, tornado possible, severe thunderstorm. That one has less rotation, so that one, even though it looks very well structured, not showing as much rotation here at the moment. Let me see if it'll show up a little differently here. Nope. Just checking all my products just to make sure we weren't seeing it at a different level. But yeah, that one looks very structured. It may tighten back up. Just based on the structure alone, it'll probably try and tighten its rotation back up. And then further down, our other tornado warning right now, Sayre, Pennsylvania, and then Waverly, New York. That also includes Litchfield, Smithborough, Hoopers Valley, Barton, up towards Glencairn and Windham Summit. This is coming into Waverly and Sayre right now, around 2:20. Kind of a broad area circulation right now. It's or I should say weak. It's not super broad, but it's not super strong at the moment either. That's coming right along the state line there, along I-86 in the southern tier. And then some other tornado possible tags. This one coming into Ellenton. Pretty good rotation there near Ellenton, Shuck, Pyatt. And then further back, let's check into this storm near Lock Haven and Jersey Shore. A little bit of rotation in there. That's that storm there near Jersey Shore. And then also this storm here coming out of Lewistown with a little bit of rotation near Burnham and Maitland in Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania. And then nothing else in that warning or that watch box there. This is going to get extended to Wanda, Wilmot, Barclay, Leroy. Areas here along US 220 in north central Pennsylvania. That's for that area of rotation back here around Ellenton. And a pretty good cell there in addition to that. Quarter size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Taking a look here back into Iowa. Still have an ongoing severe thunderstorm with quarter size hail near Blanchard, Northborough, and Coyne. You can see that hail core in there, those bright pinks and purples. Good news is an area that's been hit pretty hard with severe weather this season. Um, Around Omaha, these storms are south of Omaha, and Omaha Metro yourself is not in the severe thunderstorm watch area. Okay, for the first time, I think all afternoon, at least since we started the stream, no tornado warnings. We can breathe a little bit. Everybody take a deep breath. No tornado warnings. There are still a bunch of storms that have tornado possible tags. There's a new one right there. This is that storm I've been tracking for quite a while, from Bath to Urbana, and with an area rotation, now finally getting a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning. Quarter-size hail also. And then the extension here of this storm near Sayre and Waverly, Barton, Owego, Vestal, Johnson City, and just to the northwest side of Binghamton, also up towards Newark Valley and Berkshire here in New York State, all along I-86 is going to get extended with a tornado possible tag. Also up to about 1 inch hail. That's a dangerous storm coming towards Binghamton. Okay, but even with the addition of those two tornado possible tags, yes, a bunch of severe thunderstorms at the moment here in Vermont, upstate New York, down into central New York, and then into north central Pennsylvania. No tornado warnings at the moment. A bunch do have tornado possible tags. They are showing some various signs of rotation. Some have weaker rotation, some have broader rotation, some have weak and broad rotation. They're at the moment not to the level of a tornado warning, so that's why the National Weather Service offices are issuing these severe thunderstorm warnings with the tornado possible tag. As rotation tightens back up, or tightens for the first time in some of the newer cells, that's when the National Weather Service may issue these tornado warnings. But right now, not tornado warned. There are a bunch of new storm reports, numerous trees down in Montville, New York, trees down in Moravia. So we're going to eventually find out if these are thunderstorm wind damage reports or if they're actual tornado reports. I think for the most part, most of these are going to be thunderstorm wind damage reports, but there may be some tornado reports mixed in. 3-inch tree limbs down, power poles broken. Trees and wires down in Woodard, New York. Trees across 481, we looked at those earlier. Let's see, some new storm reports maybe around Seneca Falls. Tree down in Waterloo. Tree down blocking the road in Geneva. Trees and wires down in Tyre, New York, right along I-90, along the thruway. So yeah, some of these may be some tornado reports. A lot of these are going to be the wind reports. This one down here in Eden, I think Eden did have a tornado earlier, and we can kind of see those lined up pretty good. So that probably is a tornado reports there. And maybe also around Fredonia and Dunkirk here. Forestville, that area may have had a tornado too. Ripley, New York, trees down, Klondike Road. Whew, it's been a day. It has been a day. All right, well, this worked at a perfect time. I'm going to get a bit of a break in here, and I'm going to probably move to my normal studio setup, especially since my temporary side screen is not working right now. So I'm going to take a bit of a break, go back into monitoring mode for a little bit, and then if things pick back up, probably be back on here later this evening, especially if we get, again, more tornado warnings, and also maybe even still, as some of these storms get into some more populated areas like Scranton, Albany, even down towards Harrisburg. That may warrant a broadcast as well. And already starting to get in some more populated areas. Cortland, Ithaca, Binghamton, Syracuse got those storms earlier. Although the worst, luckily, I think missed downtown Syracuse. But yeah, it's been a pretty busy afternoon. I have a couple things I actually have to get to here this evening that I just can't wait on, so I have to go take care of those, and then we'll see if we can be back on here later this evening. Again, if the severe weather continues to ramp up, or if we get more tornado warnings, probably be back on. And like I've always said, continue to get multiple weather alerts from social media, from local news media. It's always good to have a couple streamers. If you're watching the YouTube streamers, the couple reputable streamers are always good. So there's a tornado warning right there. Well, quickly before I do have to get going here, and we'll break the stream up. Let's take a look at this one real quick. This is that area around Cazenovia and Nelson, Morrisville, New York. Radar indicated tornado here. Yeah, located over Nelson and moving northeast at 35. That's going to include Vernon, Kirkland, Paris, Augusta, Stockbridge, and Morrisville, New York. Again, we can see that area rotation right here over Nelson, moving northeast. That will also affect areas here along the New York State Thruway, south of Rome, New York, towards Verona, and Westmoreland, New York. Yeah, there's a better look at this here with the storm relative. There's your area rotation right along Nelson and US 20. That'll quickly be approaching Morrisville, Peterborough, and then Stockbridge, Munnsville, Augusta, Wells Corner, Clinton, and Westmoreland. Again, south of Rome, west of Utica. This storm may be one of those storms that Utica has to keep an eye on. About 30 miles southwest of Utica. And then a new extension here of this storm near Portland. Again, a severe thunderstorm tornado possible tag. That's going to come up towards Georgetown, DeRuyter, and areas around Lebanon, Sheds, and New Woodstock. Some overlapping severe storms there. All right, yeah, I'm going to quickly get to the things I needed to get done, and just a couple prior engagements that are kind of semi-permanent prior engagements. So let me go take care of that, and then we'll likely be on later tonight, especially if the tornado threat continues here into the evening in New York and the East Coast. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, everybody. Stay weather aware.